It's me, Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, and this evening, hopefully your kind and benevolent DM, Dr. Tarawat. Hello! We are playing some more D&D today, 5th edition. Damn good times, and we have with us here some new players. As some of you know, many of the members of our A-team were either no longer able to continue playing with us, or simply had to step away for an extended period due to scheduling problems. So we have decided to bring some new people on. Some of you know these folks, some of you don't. And we will bring them in and introduce them to you in short order, starting from the top of our list here. We got Spooty Poots.
A Spooty Poots? Who's also streaming, but you know.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? We're gonna come around and introduce everybody's characters as we go along. And up next, though, we have Audrey, aka the Killing Chick.
Hello.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, we've got Warden joining us here at the table as well.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Of course, dude. Yes. This to give people at home a little peek behind the curtain. This all basically started out where, like, there was just a lot of bad stuff that happened with the A-team that, like, everybody kind of had to leave for their own reasons, like due to scheduling or whatever else, and I was just like, fuck it, and I just kind of left it there. So I really kind of didn't want to pick up the A-team again, and I was running a lot of content for the B-team, and they were happy to play every week, so I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna keep doing this. Also, Sion, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much, and thank you, Rainer, for the subscription. But then, yeah, Spoots then sent me a DM a little while ago.
Hold on a second. I had no idea.
Y'all got some D&D.
I had no idea that your first team fell apart. I had no idea. Except I just had a hankering.
Yeah, it's got a fucking taste.
A mighty need.
A hankering, an appetite for some Dungeons and Dragons.
Y'all got some D&D.
Yeah, dude, get in here. Like, this is gonna be fucking awesome. This will be great. This will be super cool. So I was like, yeah, come on in. This will be awesome. And then I was like, you know what? If you're coming, let's get Warden in here. And Cassie is supposed to be here tonight, but she was not feeling well. So she is kind of sitting out for this round. She will be back, though. That's okay. That gives us a lot more time to focus on the lovely people that we've got here with us tonight. Then I, after having played a few games with Casey, and Casey's been a part of the community for a super long time, even since before I started streaming. So I shot Casey a message and was like, would you be interested in perhaps playing some of these Dungeons and Dragons with us? To which Casey said yes.
I was so happy I lost my shit.
And yeah, so now here we are, wandering in and having ourselves a grand old time. So yes, now most of you know that this is our continent, the continent of Immeron. This land here, once home to many more races than it currently possesses, was the battleground for a great war some thousands of years ago, between what is known as the Empire of Light, or the Empire of Revolden, and the collection of monstrous races. Some millennia ago, those races lost that war, many of them either going extinct or running to the corners of creation, some finding their way within a strange pair of doors that appeared sometime after, known as the Gates of Autumneth.
Oh, he said the name! Roll credits!
He did. He said the thing.
We did it.
He said the name. So, within Autumneth, the gates lead into a series of what appears to be abandoned tombs, and it's sort of one of those places that you can only get to if you've already been or you have an invitation. So many people have made their way inside these gates. Some races, still determined to live on the surface, are continuing to do so in and amongst the wastelands, barely eking out some survival. The others that chance the mystery of the gates to which no monsters appear to return from, make their way within the Kingdom of Autumneth. Within the kingdom's walls, which appears to be a massive, massive cavern underground, with an enchanted sky to the roof of the cavern being enchanted to look as the sky, so you have your natural day and night cycles with accurate star constellations and even occasionally weather. Many races have sort of broken up and found their way into the land. Some of them have made their way out into the wilderness, reforming their tribes and whatnot in the territories' more rustic ventures. Others found their way within a large obsidian stone city known as the Black City. In and amongst these places, law enforcement is actually relatively simple. There are a handful of mediators between the law enforcement and the monstrous races themselves, members like Martis the Minotaur or the Leshen. But most of the law enforcement is carried out by the Black Guard, or what is referred to by some as the Honor Guard, a series of skeletons dressed in massive black plate that patrol the streets silently, ensuring that everybody is safe.
So the law enforcement is fuck around and find out.
More or less. Like, there are people who will sort of act as mediators for their race. Like Martis the Minotaur acts as sort of a peacekeeper amongst the goblins in the goblin complex, because they respect him due to his enormous size. They oftentimes, like, if they have a disagreement, instead of fighting or stabbing each other, they bring the problem to Martis, or they sort of talk it out. A lot of the races, as a result of this, have become considerably more passive than legends would have you believe of their extremely savage nature once on the surface. But yeah, the Blackguard is very much a fuck around and find out kind of situation. A lot of the races have elected to keep the peace, because people that have broken the peace to an egregious nature have committed severe crimes against other people or even against their own people. Instead of being sentenced to death, in extreme cases have been sentenced to what is known as lightless death. They are not only killed, but then they are raised as undead. Now, there's a specific difference here. Undead, which possess some kind of free will often have a light in their eye sockets of some color or another. All of the Blackguard that silently patrol the streets all have the same pale blue fire in their eyes that the king possesses. One of the other characters from the B team, he is a skeleton that has a purple flame in his eyes. The Leshen has red. And it differs from one undead to another depending on their type. However, if no light is found within their eye sockets, it is considered that that person's soul is trapped within their body in a form of agony, forced to carry out the will of whoever created them. So they don't possess any free will, and from the singular case of a person who was rendered lightless dead and then resurrected back to a living state, stated that it was pretty much the worst thing ever. Like, it was just awful, torturous agony the entire time.
Lightless. No light in the eyes.
Yeah, no light in the eyes. This was considered to be a legend for a long time, for many generations of people within Autumneth, until recently some of the orcs from a western tribe decided that they would retake their heritage of conquering and killing and stealing, and began attacking other villages and tribes of people within the forests. They were brought to justice within the arena by the original A-team, and the leader of their band was rendered to lightless dead in front of everybody in the audience by the king.
Big oofs.
Big oofs on that, yeah.
Big
the chieftain of his original tribe, though, pleaded that he be allowed to be killed. And in following that, the king simply nodded and allowed him to strike down this person with a great hammer. It was enough that everyone had seen it, so everything was pretty much done. Now, the reclusive king being seen at the arena in this particular case was also something that was strangely out of place, as, once again, for almost several generations, depending on your species, the king had not been seen. The king is, as some people can see in the top left corner of our stream here, an archlich. Appears to be a faintly glowing blue skeleton of human size with pale blue flames glowing in his eye sockets and a crown made of pale blue fire floating above his head. Oftentimes he does not, well, almost any time, he never makes himself present or known within the kingdom and prefers to work through some of the other agents that he has running about the city, like the Blackguard, or, in many cases, as some people found, everybody's favorite skeleton who curiously wears a mustache, Benjamin Hyde. He looks like this.
That's how he's
so dapper. I love
That's
it.
his voice. I don't know, like,
yeah,
I don't know what
he
his
makes
voice was
way
before, but
around
that's his
the
voice
city,
now.
wearing his dapper clothing and his top hat. He also has a small pale blue flames in his eye sockets, and curiously has a mustache that is affixed to his face through means by which has eluded many of the people in the kingdom so far.
Is that his cool guy outfit that he always wears under his regular outfit?
It's a cool guy.
Cool guy. There's spaghetti under that hat. I just know it.
I know there is.
I know there is.
Don't you lie to me. But yes. So, our first characters that we're going to get to, you know what? The first that we're going to come across to is a number of Thrycreen. For those of you that don't know, there are monks, or rather there is a species of people that are a lot like praying mantis people that walk on two legs and are usually a very survivalistic type of folks. Within the kingdom, burrowed into the side of the cavern on the northwestern corner, outside of the Black City, is one such monastery, a group of monks known as the Monks of the Empty Soul. I can make it quieter. There we go. And it is here that we found our first character. Yeah, that can go a little bit. Let's try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It is here that we run into our first character. Warden, would you like to describe your character to us?
Like physically?
Yeah, what does he look like?
Well, he stands a little under 7 feet tall. His including the curvature of his legs. He's got hard chitinous skin that's usually a bright green color, almost the same color, like almost an emerald color. But it has been known to shift in color, like most Thrycreen can. He wears a simple set of monk's robes, a rope belt, and carries around his necklace a string of prayer beads, large jade-looking beads.
What color jade?
Jade, like green jade.
Okay, green jade. Thank you.
Traditional common jade. Jade the color and jade the stone.
Though yes,
there's like 15 different colored
is possible
jades.
for it to come in other colors, but yes, it'd be jade green, jade prayer beads. Yes, these Thrycreen monks of the Way of the Empty Soul dug their monastery and carved it out of the mountainside. Now, the stairs leading up to this monastery aren't hidden, but they are relatively small. And, you know, you could fit maybe 2 people standing astride, leading up to the humble door on the front of the monastery. That said, it is hard to find, as there is no pathway or walkway that leads up to the front of the stairs that lead into the mountain. And due to the sort of mountainous side of the cavern, the monastery itself is quite secluded from view. Now, running this monastery is a trio of masters.
Ooh.
Now, these masters have long since abandoned what their names could once have been. But they help to raise and teach many of the Thri-kreen who exist in this monastery, teaching them that by emptying their spirit, by letting go of many of the things that trouble them in the world, that they themselves will be able to find strength and power within.
They're pretty.
Now, your character, Warden, is known to many as Keeper. But this is a strangeness amongst the people of the Thri-kreen, as many of them, their names are not pronounceable in the common tongue. So instead, when they step outside the monastery walls, they each take the name of Keeper. It is both a name and a title amongst their people for one who is outside the monastery, either on some mission or quest or a way of growth. Now, you have two friends who live here with you. The first of whom is a slightly younger Thri-kreen. He looks like this. Now, his name is Furkik, but also goes by the same name when he exits the monastery. The second person that you know in this monastery is actually not a Thri-kreen. As it is commonly believed that outsiders are not welcome, that is not entirely true. When she was just an infant, she was left on the door of the monastery and has been raised as one of your people. This is an Orcish monk by the name of Gushar.
Gashar. Furkik and Gashar.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, of the three masters, you know that the first of the three masters, the eldest of the three, remembers that long ago your people lost their ancestral home to the Empire. That when they made their way to your island, which is now known as the Living Mountains, that a sickness befell your people, as it is written in the scriptures that you still have within your temple. But it was not a sickness of the body, it was a sickness of the heart, of the spirit. And your people, through their art of the empty soul, were able to escape with their lives and rebuild their home here in Autumneth. The first master believes that outside cultures and outsiders in general should not be welcome within the monastery, that it was bringing outsiders within your home that brought their death and destruction to your people in the first place. The second of the two masters, he believes that outsiders, their ways of living and their ways of thinking is actually what saved you, and that your monastery inside the Kingdom of Autumneth is proof of that. And that you should be grateful for these people, and not only that, but that not necessarily through adopting, but through examining outside cultures, we can learn a great deal and we can grow internally. The third of the three masters, she simply believes that outsiders don't make a difference one way or another, that whatever will happen, happens, and that their ability to influence matters is limited to only their own strength. That it is not a good thing or a bad thing to have outsiders or to consider their ways. She's also a big drinker, which brings us into
She's in her cups.
our yeah, which brings us into our a fun little thing here, which is the booze that you guys brew up in the monastery. It is a mixture of some really awful things. Firstly, the poison that you guys give off through your bites in your mandibles. The second is the poisonous substance secreted by the frog-like people known as the grung, and then there's a sort of a mixture of herbs and spices and other unknown things, and then it's fermented in a jug and made into an extremely gross booze, which is not consumed often by people in the kingdom. Many people see it as it's sort of this kingdom's version of like scorpion tequila. Like, it's not something you drink on a regular basis. It's something that you drink when you're trying to prove to your friends that you're very strong and very tough.
Use it to burn the warts off mules.
Basically, yeah, we use that to burn warts off mules. Please don't drink it. It's not for consumption.
Strip the paint off of speedboats.
You're putting the sick and toxic, yeah. But there is, however, one establishment within the kingdom that readily purchases any of this strange booze, which we are at this moment calling Slurm, but I have not come up with a proper name for it. But yes, there's one establishment that, yeah, it's Newfie Screech.
We could call it Screech, I guess. Simple enough term.
Thrycreen Screech.
Because that's the first thing you do. Like, the first time you drink it, that's all you do. You screech in pain.
Yeah.
Honestly, the word
Yeah,
that came to mind first was, for me, for some reason, it wasn't even a word. It was just glurk.
Yeah.
Because it's like the throat sound you make when you're like, oh no.
It's another sound
You know what?
make when you drink it.
We'll say that the monastery refers to it as Glurk.
Nice.
With like a hard K at the end, Glurk.
Yeah, maybe 2 Ks.
But the kingdom refers to it as Screech. There is a singular establishment which purchases it from the monastery, and that is, of course, the tavern known as Gray's, run by Kaldaka and Willow Gray, a pair of rock trolls.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah. Warden, you find yourself standing within the large sort of cavernous training area that makes up actually quite a bit of the monastery itself.
Okay.
As you are standing about, you know, sort of like the air smells crisp in this part of the mountains. It's quite nice. And there's just like a silence to the halls that brings you a common peace, which you've come to enjoy. Scurrying up to you in a rather excited, though not entirely unknown fashion, is Furkick. He runs up to you quite quickly, sort of stumbling over his own steps, and speaks to you, not using the common Thrycreen hive mind, which gives you the ability to sort of telepathically communicate with each other and with outsiders, but instead barely manages to sort of eke out some fashion of common with his mouth as he excitedly runs up to you.
Exciting news! Exciting news!
What is it, Furkick?
Master says, there is things going on at the arena. There's things there. Fighting things.
Master says there are fighting things at the arena?
He nods excitedly. Trying desperately to keep up, Gashar runs up behind Furkick, joining the two of you in the room, desperately trying to catch your breath. He says, yes, there is outside at the arena. Apparently there's some kind of hubbub going on about, I don't know, some kind of fight, some kind of test of strength or something. I didn't know. She has a small jug with her, and she takes a swig.
A test of strength. Are we invited? Are the masters sending us?
She shrugs and says, apparently it's open contest. Anybody can show up. If we want to know more, we got to go to some tavern in town. It'd be interesting to check out. they got barkers or something down there if we want to go and see. But usually we're not allowed outside the monastery more than one at a time, so we'd have to probably get clearance from one or all of the masters.
Yes. Perhaps they might be willing to make an exception for this sort of event. Maybe they will know more.
And she goes, okay. Do you want to go talk to him now, or?
Yeah. Are we doing anything else?
she like slowly takes a sip of her drinking gourd.
I look around for my gourd and then realize I probably left it somewhere with the rest of my stuff.
Yeah, because you do have a space within the monastery that you can sort of call your room, more or less. Like it's more of a glorified closet. Like there's some shelves in there where you can keep some personal effects and a bedroll. As these people are typically known for sort of like reducing the amount that they require within their day to day.
I eyeball her like taking a swig of her drink, and I like kind of beckon for some. Make a shark. Any chance I can get a swig of that? I left my drink back in my chambers.
She chuckles, puts a cork on it, and tosses it to you.
All right. I catch it, uncork it, take a one swig, like a respectable swig. Just
Respectable?
yeah. Not a lot. I don't want to drink all of her booze, but
like a large sip.
Yeah, like a large sip, like a good drink, enough to get a good taste for it. Wet my palate a little bit, and then I cork it back and toss it back to her. Awesome, thank you.
She catches it and smiles. As you guys are typically used to drinking this stuff, I'm not gonna make you roll Constitution. That's another thing. For this particular game, even if you are immune to poison, alcohol will still affect you in some regard. If you are immune to poison, you get to simply just roll with advantage when drinking. And that's pretty much it. But taking small sips and whatnot is not necessarily going to affect you, especially if you're used to it. So
after maybe the fifth.
Yeah.
Frikik, are you gonna come go see the masters about this? Like, or what are you up to?
He shifts nervously from side to side, from like one foot to the other. Then looking at you, he speaks privately to you using the telepathy.
Do you think it's a good idea?
I'm gonna respond back with the telepathy, but I don't have a voice thing.
That's okay.
I mean, I think. Do you know if anybody else would know about this? Like, I think the masters would probably be the best informed, and if we want to go and check this out or learn more about this or leave the monastery at all, we need to get their permission. So we would need to end up going to see them anyways.
He tilts his head from side to side and nods, and then again out loud.
Yes. We should go speak to the masters. Yes.
And he hops off very quickly, and once again Gashar's like starts jogging after him.
I'm gonna chuckle, and then I'm gonna jog next to Gashar, just like sportingly, just keeping up with her. Yeah, keeping pace with her, like
to be nice.
Yeah, to be nice, but like also just ahead of her as well, like just
just don't leave her behind. She does a pretty decent job keeping up with you. She's fast, not as fast as you guys are, but she actually does a pretty admirable job of keeping up. One of the more common forms of training, at least physically, for the Thri-kreen is feats of agility and or speed, or just running. So there's lots of paths that lead through the sort of mountainous cavern side surrounding the temple that your people are known for hopping and jumping and running through. Mostly hopping and jumping, given your predilection for that. So outsiders, much like Gashar, have had to definitely work at keeping up with you guys.
But the fact that she can mean she's earned my respect. The fact that she can keep up with us at all is something worthy of admiration.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
As you guys move your way through one of the larger hallways, you pass a series of large statues. Now, the large statues are just seemingly the same Thri-kreen over and over, carved in a meditative state out of the stone of the mountain. This is the 7 Keepers. Sort of, not necessarily gods, as it is sort of revered folklore. It would be like having a statue to Hercules or something like that. And it is statues that some of the monks, on some occasions, have been known to pray at for guidance, or just simply meditate in front of for the quiet. As you guys are running down the hallways, passing the 7 Keepers, you do see, saints, Balthus, that's a very good word for it. As you guys are running past, you see a number of other Thri-kreen monks quietly sitting, meditating in front, as you scurry past. Leading into another smaller chamber, you are met by the 3 masters, who are sitting about. They're standing sort of just looking at each other, and you get the feeling that they're communicating with one another. As you come running in, Furkik immediately stops about 10 feet away from them, sort of stands at what would be an approximated version of attention for the monks, and looks very bashful as he does so, very very sort of bashful and nervous. The center master looks to the 3 of you approaching and smiles as much as a Thri-kreen can, and nods his head to each of you, and seems to broadly speak to all of you using his telepathy.
As soon as I notice one of the so I'm standing in front of the masters with Furkik, and Gashar's here as well. I assume she caught up.
She catches in, yeah.
Okay.
So she comes in a little bit out of breath, but she's doing well for herself.
Once they're like next to me, and as soon as I notice one of the masters like notice me, I'm gonna kneel. I kneel in respect.
They
kind of
the 3rd master, she gestures for you to stand.
Oh, okay, then I stand.
Looking at the 3 of you, the center master smiles, and then speaks telepathically. So I guess you've heard the news. Isn't that right, Furkik? And Furkik sort of shimmies back and forth.
Kicks a stone, shuffles his little feet.
Kicks a little rock, shuffles in place, looking real bashful. He's just sort of come to realize that getting the 3 of you all together and running back towards them, it's obviously he's heard something, and obviously he was listening to their conversation. The 1st and the eldest master frowns down at Furkik and says, "Some should mind their business. Some should not be so curious of the outside." Furkik simply bows in apology.
I remain at attention, and I kind of make note of that. I'm gonna.
Says the center master. Let's hear it. He looks to you.
Furkik sends word of some sort of challenge or test of strength at the arena. Something going on outside the monastery. We were hoping you would know more. We don't really know, but we wish to know more.
He nods and looks to the eldest of the 3, who, with his one eye, sort of scans over the 3 of you. Yes. Word has found its way to us that there is some sort of contest. Brutes swinging blunted objects at each other. It is beneath us to be seen at presence at such an event. And he sort of casts a glare at the other 2 masters, who roll their eyes, as the 2 of them were present in the audience for the A-Team's original debut in the arena fighting against the orcs.
I bow and I acknowledge the 1st master who just spoke. But master, respectfully, do we not know better? If it's just brutes swinging their weapons, what is that? That's not true strength. That is an illusion of strength. That is just merely a falsehood. We know the way. We can show them.
It is the
As
way.
you speak, the master in the center smiles to you, but the elder of the three furrows his brow a little bit. In your version of that, sort of the antenna move.
I get you.
He's just
All the more reason for us to remain here. We have no business sharing our art with outsiders.
and he casts a knowing glance over at Gushar. The center of the masters waves him off with one of his hands. Says,
Now, we don't need any of that. Come. I think that this would be an apt opportunity for us to test ourselves against others. We grow stagnant by only testing our strength against one another. If we test our strengths against others, who knows?
he sort of raises his eyebrows.
We might learn something.
To that, the elder of the three masters scoffs and turns his head away. The one on the far right to you, she chuckles and takes a swig out of a large jug that she has with her.
I think it'll make for some fun entertainment at the very least. We could certainly use some brevity around here, with some people souring the mood constantly.
She says.
Okay,
Casting
boomer.
a look over at him. Yeah, it's just like. Yeah. So yes, the center master then smiles to her and nods.
Well said. I think that we should perhaps send the three of you. Would be nice if you are volunteering.
He sort of leaves that with a question mark.
All right, my antenna kind of perk up when he mentions, like, when he starts off with all three of us, and I say, like, but master, all three of us can go? Normally, we're not allowed outside the monastery more than one at a time.
I think that this opportunity would, for us at the very least, offer some interesting things.
I twitch my antennas in a way that would signify to them that I am pleased with this and that I'm, like, excited and happy with it, and I just kind of bow slightly in thanks.
He smiles, and Furkick, though, standing off to your left, is quivering a little bit, shaking in his boots a bit. And he says,
You will not be forced, obviously, to participate, but if you would like to go and see, simply remember our ways, conduct yourself with respect and honor.
and to that, Furkick sort of stops shaking and nods his head.
Aww.
Now, before I just let you go, I think now might be an apt time for a test.
And he glances at you. Warden's character, I can't pronounce his name.
Pronounce it, Warden.
Kerr. Kerr. So I'm just going to call you Kerr. We're not referring to you as Keeper. So he sort of gives you a look and says,
Would you accept this test?
I step forward, I bow respectfully, and I say, yeah, I accept any test placed before me. I will prove my strength and my wisdom.
Smiling, he bows back to you and says, Then we shall go to the training room, and you will show me how you have grown, and how empty your spirit has become. In a few moments, he walks you back into the large room you see pictured here, past the statues of the seven. The other two masters sort of take their position in the steps above and watch with the other two students that you have there. Both Kuchar and Furkick join them up.
Oh, they're watching too?
up above. Yes.
I'm a little nervous. My friends are watching. I'm
Aww.
already nervous, and I'm already nervous enough performing in front of the masters. Like, but like my friends are there too.
friends.
Nope.
But like my
This-
friends gives me strength as well. Seeing
Yes.
seeing that my friends are there.
Now, this very commonly is a thing that happens from time to time. Sometimes instructors will do this. Very rarely masters will do this in person. But this particular master has taken an interest in you. And so he does, as is always done for these sorts of tests, stands in the center of the room, folds both of his sets of arms behind his back, looks at you knowingly, and then simply says,
Strike me, if you can.
All right.
and for that, okay, good, that button did work. Excellent.
Hooray.
That
Yeah.
music was running through our Stream Deck system, so that
Alright.
wasn't using the one that we normally have. So yeah. All right. So then. No, that's a bit too much.
Yeah. Hey, it is
we
one of
go.
the masters. That's pretty epic. Yeah, there we
There
go.
you
It still
go.
worked.
Because it's a bit
I
lighthearted
think a
as
little more
well.
lighthearted.
Yeah.
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 Which of the masters
So-
is this?
This would be the center of the masters, the
Ah.
one that very much enjoys outside cultures. I imagine I will name them at some point, but I like the idea that at least one,
They're just the
two,
tallest.
and 3, yeah, they're just the tallest. Of the 3 masters, they're simply known as 1, 2, and 3. And as I said, they've sort of long since abandoned their names, seemingly a long time ago. Winky, Blinky, and Clyde. So yeah. Now I don't have like a mat for this room per se, but what we can do, because it's just the 2 of you, you can simply describe what you'd like to do with your character, as his motions are going to be relatively still.
It's okay. I'm used to playing D&D without any grid or map at all. I'm just doing it old school. Like just with pen and paper and just character sheets and
When we
freeforming
couldn't
it.
find grid paper.
We couldn't find grid paper. I didn't want to spend like 4 hours drawing it.
That is fair.
Yeah, well, yeah, this was also a long time ago. Okay,
Anyway.
so I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna take a deep breath, and let's ready myself. How far away is he from me?
He is standing about 20 feet from you, at
About
the
20
center
feet?
of the room. Yeah,
All right.
you are on the outer ring of the room, so that's about 20 to 30 feet.
Well, I mean, let's start this off with something. Let's start this off with the obvious. I'm gonna just go straight for him, and I'm gonna fake him out. I'm gonna make a strike.
Okay.
But my objective is just to fake him out and get him to dodge the first strike, so I can get him with a kick. So the
Oh,
kick
okay.
the kick is the real attack, but
You're gonna try to do
False
like a
swipe.
fake out.
yeah, I'm doing a fake out or a feint.
I'll swipe.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So like you absolutely blast across the room straight at him, and open up with this punch. Roll to hit, to see at least if you can fake him out with this. Or do you wanna roll like a because this would be, if
maybe
you're
a
trying to fake him out,
deception-
that would
a
be
deception
that
check.
would be performance. Yeah, because
Performance?
yeah, deception's not a thing anymore, is it?
Yeah, it
deception on the
is.
sheet? It is.
It
Yeah.
is.
So I would say then, yeah, if you're gonna try to like fake him out,
Roll a deception.
roll deception, but add your dexterity instead of charisma.
Oh, okay. How do I do that?
It might just be
Roll
a charisma
deception.
check. There you go.
1d20 minus 1. I rolled a 17.
Yeah.
So
You rolled a 17 and
but
then
instead
plus.
of minus 1, so it would be a 21 for deception.
Ooh.
Okay. All
High
right.
dex. Real
All
high
right.
dex.
Now roll to hit for your kick.
Do you want to use the hit that I did? I rolled the unarmed strike beforehand. You want to just use that roll? Or roll, make
If you
another
want
roll.
to use the 14, you can go for it, or you can go for another thing.
Let's go for another. Bam, 14
14
again.
again.
It's another
Alright.
14.
It's set in the stars. 14 was destined.
Now, as you are, as you like blast across the room towards him at just like the blinding speed that you can normally move at, you go in for the punch, fake, and then you swing in with a kick. And in that sort of like, you didn't see this happen, but they practice the same art of the empty soul that you do, obviously. This is sort of another word for one of the monk subclasses known as the astral self, the way of the astral self. With both his sets of arms behind his back, you bring up a foot to kick, and suddenly, blasting into appearance, one of his astral arms manages to just get in time and catch your foot as it's coming up.
Okay.
Or at the very least, block it. Like, his arm comes out to block it. He keeps his eyes fixed on you, and it is your turn again.
All right. I'm surprised at how, like, I'm not surprised at the arm, but I'm just surprised at just how bloody fast it was. I was not expecting it. Like, you know, you anticipate the masters being good, but
damn.
okay. He, you know, he was able to see through my fake out. Let's see. I'm going to bring up my other leg and try and kick off of his torso to put some distance between us.
Absolutely. Roll me
And
acrobatic.
disengage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just use
So
disengage, right?
you, like, with your one foot up that he's blocked with one astral arm, you spin up and kick off him with your other foot. As you about to plant that foot on his chest, his second astral hand comes out of his chest and catches your foot. Doesn't grip it, but just like palms the foot. You do successfully kick off of him, flipping backwards through the air and landing a few feet away.
Nice.
All right. I'm gonna twitch my antenna and can I make an insight check? Try and analyze where his arms are coming out of, like what if there's any kind of sort of openings. Is he guarding his upper half, his lower half more than others? Just try and glean what I
roll me
can.
insight. Okay, so 14. The one arm that came out and caught your first leg is coming out of his left shoulder. The second arm came right out of the center of his chest. A technique that you're not entirely familiar with.
Fair.
But as that's happened, though, when you flip backwards through the air and land, it seems the arm is shifted to coming out of his right shoulder. So both of his hands are now out and in a ready stance. You do, with a 14 in insight, you do see that he is taking a defensive stance.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. How far
Disadvantage.
away?
There is not supposed to be an arm there. And yet there is.
How far away is he from the furthest wall behind him?
The distance from the center to the edge of the ring is about 30 feet. There's about another 10 feet beyond that to the wall.
Distance from the center of the room.
So it'd be about 40 feet-ish.
About 40 feet-ish from him. Okay. Do I have to do my bonus action before? Do I have to do my bonus action after my regular action? Or can
It
it be
can
before?
go whenever in the turn order you want it to be.
Okay.
You have one
And-
bonus action, one move action, and one regular, like, standard action.
You also
that,
only have a bonus
you can use for
action.
attack or
But
move.
but I was wondering if I have to use them in a particular. Do I have
Nope.
to use my regular action first and
No.
then my bonus action? Okay.
Very
I'm
much
going-
like the movement actions and the attack actions that you have in your turn, or standard action as it's now known, which can be used to attack or move. They can be done in any order. Like, you can attack someone and then move, or whatever.
Okay.
You can also only use a bonus action if you have a skill or ability or something like that that says
Yep.
as a bonus action, blah blah blah.
Yep. I'm going to spend one key point to take the disengage or dash action as a bonus action on my turn, and I'm going to use the dash action.
Okay.
I'm going to aim to jump over him,
Okay.
and do a spinning kick to his back.
Oh.
because the step of the wind action also doubles my jump distance for the turn.
Jesus. Okay, so how far
Yeah, leave that
and
in the
high
chat
can
for
you
me.
jump?
Step of the wind. Oh, I gotta click that.
Yep. And can you
There
can
you go. Yeah,
do
step of the
something
wind. You
for
can
us?
spend a key point to take the disengage or dash action as a bonus on your turn, and your jump distance is doubled for that
Can
turn.
you just show us your jump skill? Like, can we just see this?
Well, I don't know. My movement speed is 60, and my I have the standing
Yeah.
leap
Yeah.
ability.
Can you link the standing leap? Yeah.
Standing
Yeah.
leap, yeah. You can jump up to 30 feet, and its high jump is up to 15. So he could jump 30. He could jump 60 feet when using Step of the Wind as a bonus action. So you did, Jesus. So you wanna jump behind him? Were you aiming to like vault off the wall and then like jump at him with a kick?
Yes.
Well, now he is.
But I don't think I have enough. Oh wait, yeah, I can if I'm using
Yeah,
the
you
dash
could.
action first. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, aiming to jump over him, vault off of the wall quickly, and hit him with an unpredictable like kick to the back.
In that moment, were you paying attention to the audience, you'd hear your friend who is up there, your orcish friend Gashar, go, "Holy shit!" As you leap over the master, vault off of the wall, and move straight in for a flying kick. Roll to hit.
Boop.
Oh.
In that moment, like you with blinding speed, like go right over him and then jump off the wall and use that to like just rocket yourself straight at him with your foot out. You swore you could have made contact with just the tip of his fucking robes, but in that moment, he disappears and seems to move fast enough that you lose sight of him. Roll me perception.
Oh.
Oh my god.
That's a 1. You rolled a
You
1.
were so focused putting all of this power into this one attack. You strike hard the ground of the center of the arena, and he's gone for that moment. You like spinning around, standing there in the middle of the room. You can't see him. Roll me a reflex save.
How do I do that? Dexterity save?
Yeah, it's a dex save. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So he comes just out of your left side, and like your years of training have definitely given you an edge in this moment. That he comes out of your left side, and he's coming at you with these with the astral arms, making what appears to be these like wide sweeping strikes with you that are just obvious enough for you to have caught and get an opportunity to dodge out of the way of, and he narrowly misses you.
Oof. That was close. Okay.
Came at you like a train.
Smiling, he gives you a small nod of approval as you jump out of the way.
Okay. I'm gonna kick off of the ground just to try and to like put a little bit of distance between us again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna take a deep breath. Is he still like okay?
Yeah, he's just standing on the ground looking up at you.
He's just
got
standing
his
there,
astral arms out,
waiting
but-
in. Okay, but
Yeah.
I put some distance between us, and he's no longer coming at me. He's now back in his ready position.
Yes.
Okay. I take a deep breath in and out, and I think to myself, okay, this isn't where. Okay, I need to try something different. But I'm gonna try and do this. See if I can do this on my own.
Okay.
But what that means to me is different. Oh, sorry. What I mean by that is I use my telepathy to speak up to Gashar.
Okay.
Gashar, throw me your flask.
She, a bit of a troublemaker without hesitation, stands and whips the flask at you. Roll me acrobatics to check to catch it. Okay, sweet. So it lands, in your hand, and you now have this flask.
Okay. If I'm gonna have to try and land a hit, I can't be too so direct and predictable. I need to adapt and be unpredictable in order to try and catch the master off guard if I want to try and get this without using my own astral arms.
The third master's like, woo!
Yeah.
Nice.
Get it!
So I uncork it and I take myself. How much is left in there? A good amount, half amount, like good
There's
drink.
like a third of it left. Do you chug it?
Yeah, I chugged whatever's left.
Roll me Constitution save.
All right, bam.
Oh no! Oh no!
All right. So you're swaying a little bit. You like it like
All right.
the fucking bug screech hits you hard as you like knock back. This is a feeling though that is not unfamiliar to you.
No.
So you have
All right.
like, yeah, Warden uses vomit style. Oh, Balthus, Jesus. Yeah, Jargon Monk. So yeah, you knock that back. It hits you. You're feeling
All right.
pretty like sway. So any more physical attacks that you attempt will be made with disadvantage as you're a little off kilter.
Damn it. Okay. All right. Well, let's try.
However, in this moment, I'm gonna say people might have a bit of a harder time hitting you.
All right. Excellent. Disadvantage.
Watching you do this, the master continues to stand a little left of the center of the room now, and kind of smiles and tilts his head to one side, and you can hear him inside your thoughts go, "Okay."
All right.
So I'm just like, let's see
right.
how this goes.
All right. All right.
Now let's see
So I start fucking swaying. Now
Yeah.
back and forth, like in an exaggerated manner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then I'm gonna make a run at him.
Yep.
And then I'm going to aim to fall flat on my face. And then I'm going to ready an action.
Okay.
If he comes at me, I'm going to spring my legs up and try and kick him in the face backwards.
Oh, you're trying to do like a back kick?
Yeah, like a surprise attack. I'm not
You'll make a
actually
ready
falling.
action,
Yeah.
to do this once he gets close enough to you, yes?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So you, good God, you run to the middle of the room and absolutely face plant. Like, and it looks. Roll me performance.
Hey, somebody's got to tank the floor.
Performance for charisma again, or performance for dex or wisdom?
Charisma again.
Oh no.
Charisma again.
roll me performance.
Oh no!
Oh god.
So you absolutely running across the room, throw all your hands straight up and like pretend to trip and go and fall on your face. The master just goes like, okay, and just sort of like starts walking towards you. He does eventually, as you have are lying on the ground, he does. Yeah, Morden proceeds to kick his own ass.
How I am with dice.
Oh my God. He approaches you at a steady stroll. Still has his astral arms out, but he does eventually trigger your readied action. Like he gets close enough to you that you could spring and make the attack on him.
Haha!
Yeah, roll the hit.
This was planned the entire time.
Hey!
Damn it!
That's a crit miss.
So, you. Oh God. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
No, you do it.
Okay. So, you, with surprising dexterity, still for your drunken state, do this like spring backflip. You spring your trap, and you kick, and he is not there. You catch this just as you like finish the backflip. And you're sort of like midair just before you've hit the ground. You realize the space in front of you is completely fucking empty. Roll perception.
All right. Well, because that went so well last time. Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much better.
That's a +7. Like you got
Yeah.
+7 to perception.
Yeah.
You rolled a fucking
You-
10.
Land on the ground.
Oh no, I have. No, I have only have disadvantage to hit.
For hitting, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jackie Jan. So you you do this backflip. He's not there. You land on the ground and you get that like menacing feeling behind you. And you turn with only just enough time to see him with his two arms absolutely just land just a flurry of blows into you that go beyond your ability to count in the moment. But the thing is, each strike that he lands against you doesn't do anything. He pokes you with each of his fingers as he's doing it just from his astral form, just like pokes you all over the body. And that concludes the fight, where he dismisses his two arms and bows to you respectfully.
I kind of scoff like, oh, damn it, this is clearly over. I can't. Like, and I stand up and I bow respectfully. Like, I'm clearly no match for the master.
He, smiling at you, says,
That was very interesting. Were you setting a trap in the middle of combat?
That was the intention, yes, master. To deceive with unpredictability. To use the alcohol to empty my mind, to empty my soul, and thus focus it. And use that sort of emptiness against my enemies. However, clearly it's no match for somebody who has mastered the art and has practiced it as long as you have. I still have clearly have much more to learn.
He clicks and chuckles a little bit, but then he says,
Understanding that your opponent is not only well trained, but is also rigidly trained, and will be able to use, some would say, obvious techniques to fight. Giving yourself an air of unpredictability and strange movements and even pretending to fall over mid-combat, I have to say, is tremendously clever.
he gives you a pat on the shoulder with one of his upper arms.
I am honored to have received such. I kind of feel my chest fill with a little. Like my pride is obviously hurt because I was trying to put on a show for my friends and obviously trying to impress the master and not get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
But his words kind of help heal that broken ego a little bit. Like it's not all bad, right? The master's.
Yeah. He's
know.
like. Legitimately, he's like, that was fucking smart. Like, and it's very much that, like, Avatar: The Last Airbender that's like, using the terrain to fight an obviously older opponent, like, that's clever. Kind of moment where he recognizes that, like, clearly you saw that you were outmatched, and using your skills as a monk against his wouldn't have played you very well, but you attempted to use your younger age, higher speed, and unpredictability to your advantage on the fly. So it was very smart. Gushar runs up to the edge of the arena from the steps above and goes, "Oh, you got poked!"
Yeah, like I'm a bit ashamed, like, but I mean, it did happen. Like, all right, yeah, I got poked. Like, yeah, like, all right, that happened.
I love this woman.
Yeah, get it out now. Let's get it over with. Come on.
She does a mixture of cheering for you and jeering. Furkick runs up next to her and sort of like claps his mandibles together happily, and it's just like,
You lasted a whole 30 seconds. That was amazing.
Duh.
Hey, I did my best. These guys are tough. Like the masters are the masters for a reason. Like I would love to see how you guys do.
yeah.
I already.
And Gushar just like, oh no, shit, I got things to do. I got chores.
yeah, that's what I thought. Just you guys wait. One day, I'll be even better than the masters. I'll have learned all three of their arts, and then I'll invent my own style, and
One
it'll be
day.
and yeah.
I'll be Hokage.
God damn it!
That wasn't even what I was going for, but
But now it is.
Wasn't. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
no, one day,
No?
one day.
I got this feeling like Master Number 3 is like Monk Gyatso from Avatar: Last Airbender, Where it's like, yes, all of these abilities will hone your capability of throwing these fucking pies at the other master.
Yes, he's very Monkeyatsu in the sense that she really just does enjoy drinking and being at peace.
Yeah.
That, like, of the three masters, she takes very clearly the least academic approach to what this is. That for her, it is less like a form of discipline in martial arts. For her, it's much more a way of just living and being at peace with the universe. That all of the meditations that are led by a master are led by her. And she very clearly gives that very like calm, absolutely nothing phases her. Like she is vibe at all times. Like she is the vibe check.
I have to AFK for 1 second. Sorry, it's
sure.
Emergency. I'll be right back. So sorry to do this right now.
That's cool.
That whole thing seemed like the most anime that could ever animate. Like when you say when the fight kicked off, I immediately imagined like the like blast wave of dust behind Keeper. Like it was like poof, like that three-quarters downward
he moves
angle.
60 feet around.
You goddamn right he does.
Fast.
Well, when he wants to, he moves at 60 feet around. Like he can move it. Well, he can move faster than that, but blast wave of dust.
Yeah, just fucking goes at him.
Yeah, not quite.
That was fantastic.
Not quite kill a kill levels, but like maybe
Keeper is the last ale bender.
That's good. That's
nice.
Good. But yeah, I'm also loving this orc chick.
Yeah.
I will destroy the world for her.
Yeah, right? Get you a girl like her.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And I also love the other friend so much. He's soft boy. And I have a soft spot for soft boy.
He's just a little, he's trying his best.
Him's trying him's best.
Him's trying his best.
And hey, she's pretty good at knowing what not to get himself into, and I can respect that. I can respect that. He can read a room.
Okay, I have returned.
Hey.
You were called the last Alebender?
Yes. Referred to as the last Alebender. And I was like, and Rainer's like, I love that Warden chose the JoJo class for this.
He did! Like, it was completely inadvertent as well. Like, he just thought it was cool, and then he was like, wait. Yeah.
All of this was just like, oh my god, this is the 8th keeper that I've been playing across all these D&D campaigns, much like the JoJo's, and he'll have like the astral form is basically a stand that you summon.
It's Stardust Crusaders version.
He's just like, oh my god, like he was sending me messages at like 3 in the morning, like, no, Doc, you need to understand.
This was all completely accidental. I had played the first keepers were played back in 3.5 before I had ever seen JoJo. So
Always Sunny whiteboard meme, like.
Exactly. Like, just like brings you like, oh my god.
The way the astral self was just published in the most recent Dungeons and Dragons 5th expansion book, Tasha's Cauldron and everything. So I figured, hey, let's try that out. That sounds fun. And then afterwards, I was like, wait a minute, this is just a fucking stand.
So, after the conclusion of the fight, the second master gives you like another firm sort of like grip on the shoulder, gives you a smile, and invites you to join him out on the front of the temple.
Oh.
Everything the light touches.
And yeah, okay. And
he takes you out to the front, where like the bracing cool mountain air sort of just like fills the sort of areas in between your carapace and rushes over you. Very refreshing. Standing at the edge of the steps, moments later, Gashar and Furkick join you, but stay at a small distance from you. He gestures down to the kingdom below, and speaks to you, again, strangely, using his mouth.
What do you see.
I, I ponder his words for a second, like, and I gaze my eyes out on the kingdom. I'm gonna ask you, what do I see physically?
Physically, you see one side of the kingdom itself, like the Black City proper, the great obsidian walls that are there. You see a number of the buildings sort of poking up over it hither and thither. In the back, you see the Palace of Falling Leaves, the great structure where it is known the king to stay. Beyond that, you see surrounding the great obsidian walls, all of the trees seem to be stuck in a perpetual autumn. And beyond that, there are more trees, forests. You see sort of spread out amongst the distance. You can barely make out the other side from this height of the cavern itself. It's quite large, and it would take several days of travel to make it all the way across. You see a number of villages of different types of people, orcs and Tauren and Minotaur, and other people, trolls and whatnot, mixed in and amongst the trees. You, in fact, in the distance, see the large body of water that is home to the frog people.
I see chaos. I see fracture. I see people, different people, all trying to do their best.
He nods.
That is one way to see it.
I have only seen so little. I'm on my travels. I usually just, going into the city, the taverns. I've only really done trade runs. I haven't really had much chance to explore or talk to people, but, you know, from what I see so many different types of people, different types of beings.
And he nods.
And yet
Seeing the world from a distance, it can be easy to forget that each of these villages were built by people like us. Each of them was born and grows. Each of them loves and fears. Perhaps this will be a good opportunity for you to see them closer, to understand them better.
Master?
Yeah, he sort of nods at you.
There's just so much to learn. I haven't, I've been under the tutelage, I've been under strict, I've had such a strict life my entire life. Like, where should I start?
He points down towards the Black City.
Go to the tavern. Learn more of this event. Perhaps they will teach you things you cannot learn inside this monastery.
And he sort of smiles to you and leaves you there standing at the steps as he turns and walks back in. At that, Gashar and Furkick sort of run up next to you at the edge of the steps. And as they're standing there, Gashar sort of leans over to you and goes, "What do you think? You want to go to the bar?"
I'm just still like it takes me a little bit to process her words. Like I'm still kind of taking it all in. Like after everything's just been moving. Everything moves fast in my life as it is, but even for that, everything just seems to be moving even faster than normal. Like if going from just wanting to just my meditation to inquiring about inquiring about the masters to actually having to like face the masters, and now you know what I mean. Now it's all kind of a lot to take in for someone who's normally just led more of a strict monastic life. But eventually, I answer her words. Yeah, let's do this.
All right. She smiles and gives you a clap on the shoulder. Looking down the stairs, there is a figure walking up towards you, whom Gushar immediately recognizes. And she looks down and goes, "Uh-oh, here comes trouble." Walking up the stairs, you see what would often in some circles be mistaken as an orc, but it seems that she is touched by fire. She is a fire genasi, based on an orc. You know her by the name of Turthar.
Turthar?
That's right. That is Turthar. That is Gushar's partner. Walking up the stairs, she goes, "Calling me trouble? You fucking boozer. Get down here." Gushar runs down, and they hug and hold hands. Looking up at you, they go, "Come on. It's not going to be day all day. Let's go."
I look for Furk. Is he around? He's still around?
Furkick is standing off your right side. He's at the top of the steps. He appears to not be able to move.
Furk, are you okay? Like, you're coming?
He looks at you. He's very frightened, and speaks to you again privately, using your connection. It says,
I've never been down the stairs before.
I'm gonna use my telepathy to respond to him to not embarrass him in front of the orcs. Don't worry about it. I've been out a couple times. Gashar's probably been out a couple times as well. Tons of us make trips down to from the monastery on our trade runs, and we usually do it one at the time. And as far as I can recall, I haven't really heard of anything horrible happening. And besides, this time there's 3 of us. Like, you'll have me and Gashar here to look out for you as well. Like, we'll all look out for each other.
he looks down the stairs and then looks back at you again, and says,
Promise you won't lose me somewhere?
I promise, Furky. Well, don't worry.
He's
We'll all
so
look out for you.
precious.
We'll all keep an eye on each other.
He nervously takes one step down onto the first step away from the monastery. Turning to you, he smiles brightly, and with his mouth, he says,
My name is Keeper.
Yes. And I smile and I kind of laugh and I say, yes, today we are all keeper.
Carefully, he continues to bound down the steps, and you guys make your way on the journey towards Gray's Tavern.
Yeah.
And from there, we turn our focus to a different group of people. This group is a village down in the water that we've seen a little bit early. This is a village of the Grung. The Grung are a very lawful, frog-like people who live in sort of marsh areas and swamps and other lakes and other water places of the world. These particular guys... Yeah, let's get that one. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Swamp.
So we take ourselves now down to a Grung village, where we introduce ourselves to Casey's character, Floop.
Casey?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's you.
It's you.
Casey, you find yourself, as often you always do, tending to the reeds and flowers and mushrooms that surround the water's edge, upon which your at least for your people, quite large village finds itself. It's still pretty early in the day, and things are still relatively nice out. And running up to you, you see a tiny little green grung who I'm trying to get through this. A tiny little green grung runs up to you, whom you know as Floosh.
Floosh.
And he looks like this.
Oh! My hands are just so sticky.
Yep. So Floosh runs up to you, and he's carrying his little sword, which is really more of a dagger, as he scampers up to you. Now he's a green grung, so they are very much considered to be like the working class people. They are not necessarily considered to be like, they're not looked down on. It's just like, the grung have a very caste system. So he comes running up to you with his tiny little plate mail and his little sword, which is actually just a dagger. And as he's running along a little wooden bridge towards you, trips on a little piece of the bridge and absolutely eats it. Just getting right up to your feet. He flops onto his stomach hard and slides up just next to you, and sort of manages to get his hands underneath himself again. Oh, jeez. Oh, hello, Floop. It's so good to see you. How are you today?
Hello, Fish!
Oh, God.
You forgot.
I did forget.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm okay. And he gets up, tries to sheathe his sword, but has a little bit of difficulty letting go of it. Ugh, my hands are so sticky.
Beautiful.
But he stands up and goes, there's very big news from the city, though. Have you heard that there's some kind of tournament going on at the Great Arena?
I've been tending to the waters all day. I don't know.
Well, now you do. He puts his hands up in the air in a slow, pathetic celebration.
Yay!
Hooray! So there's a side up that's happening at a tavern that is said to be gray, and he makes a big sort of motion with his hands in a very mysterious fashion.
Let me guess. You wanna go see?
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, if you're asking if I want to go for a drink at the bar, then I think that, I mean, I don't know if you're a red, so I don't know if you'd want to be seen with a green like me. I don't even know what tavern it is. They're all gray. They're made of rocks, and he puts his hands on the side of his head and goes, "Oh, I'm blowing it."
Aww.
Floosh just softly pats his head.
Oh, hush it! You're my cousin. I don't care the color.
That's very kind of you. Following up, behind him at a more measured pace is another green frog that is taller. You would know this is Floosh's older brother, Roosh.
Oh my god.
They don't have creative names. They all have stupid names that all sound like noises you make when you go in the water.
Okay, but that's fair.
On a side note, I have other names to give for her family, so...
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, go for it. But yeah, so Roosh comes up along. There has been a small request in the audience for you to not use the voice mod, as some people are having some difficulty understanding. We can calibrate that more between streams, if that's okay with you. Yeah.
I don't mind.
But yeah, Roosh comes along and goes, "It's not a tavern that's gray. It's Gray's Tavern. come on. And then Roosh kind of goes, oh, right, that's okay. But I don't understand what the orcs are saying sometimes. They're very scary, and I only hear about half of what they're saying in between on my heads or on my ears. It's sort of
Christ.
sort of like wabbles his feet back and forth nervously. Roosh, now standing next to him, gives him a pat on the head. Roosh, you would know as also being one of your clan's hunters, that he goes out and occasionally brings back game and other things that you guys would use to eat.
Cool, that's perfect.
Floosh, his younger brother, is still trying to find his way in the world.
Aw.
he's trying his best. That's what he is. So these frogs remind me of the Pathfinder races. Gripply, yeah. These were the Grung have been in Dungeons and Dragons, a race of frog people that for a long time have been monsters that you can run into. They secrete like a poisonous goop that constantly covers their skin, which can cause people who are susceptible to such to get poisoned if you attempt to grapple them. So, don't try to grab or lick the tiny frogs. But
Or
in addition to that, they have like a caste system. At the bottom, there's the green grung, who are typically your workers and laborers, and then moving upwards towards the top, you get like the more different colors, like purple, eventually going into the orange and then red, and then the gold at the top. Now, yeah, no frog licking. That's right.
we could frog lick.
But what if I did though?
All right, but I do, and.
But what if it was for me?
I just imagine Keeper licking a frog saying, I wanted real shit.
Give me that good shit. Give it to me raw.
I was gonna say Warden's been giggling. It just was muted for a bit.
Yeah. So, Floosh has brought the news to you and says, but if we want, we could go to the tavern to get more information and sign up for the games. And he sort of waves his hands a little bit. He goes, but we'd have to ask for permission.
Okay, let me grab my bucket. And she just like shuffles to the side and pulls on a bucket that was stuck in the mud. Yeah, got it.
Oh, are you okay?
I'm fine.
You got it.
She just collapses her little bucket and puts it on her back.
Yeah, so Casey's character, Floop, has a
Did we get
bucket.
a description of this character?
Oh yes.
I even made an art. You can show it.
Yeah.
If I can. Let me here. Let's see if I can't just drag it. Bam. There we go. So that's Floop. Floop is a red grung. Commonly, she wears a sort of lily flower behind her one eye and has a collapsible bucket. So on the inside of this bucket, it's lined with leather, and each of the wooden planks are sort of glued in a way. They're affixed to the rope that's around the outside, but you can simply push them in and they collapse inwards. But if brought open, you could put water in it, and it makes for a regular bucket. And in many cases, when traveling outside of the Grung village, as the Grung must be put into water every 24 hours, they have to spend at least 1 hour sitting in water. Then she will use this as a little tub that she carries around.
That's my kiddie pool.
It's a little kiddie pool. So you collapse that up. And Floosh goes, okay, so we all need to be on our best manners if we're going to go before his moistness.
His voice
is off his armor.
Oh my god.
Yeah. His moistness, that's correct.
That's okay, Phoenix. I just finished drawing a thing you missed.
Yeah. Now, the huts and whatnot in the village are oftentimes made from driftwood and other parts of deadfall. The Grung people, while they have quite a sizable village, aren't what you'd necessarily call industrious. They're very tribal, in that sense. So they build their house out of just branches and things that have fallen from the trees and other deadfall that they find around the forests and other driftwood that they find within the lake that have been carved and woven into these lovely little houses. Sitting out in the lake is a larger hut at the other end of a long bridge that's being propped up by several wooden stakes put down. Surrounding the outside of the hut, there are several large glowy mushrooms that are growing around. It looks very majestic. And standing in front of the door to get in is a singular gold cast toad standing there, leaning on a large sword next to him. Looking at the three of you approach, he gives you, Floop, he gives you a sort of respectful nod. As the reds are, from what I understand, just below the golds. And then he sort of casts his eyes down at the other two, Floosh and Roosh, and he goes, "State your business."
We are here to see his moistness.
And he kind of nods and looks over each of you, and then regarding you specifically, Floopy goes, "Is it important?"
Well, there has been a motion outside of the village, and we wish to investigate it.
And he turns and walks inside after he motions for you to wait there. After a bit, he comes back out and nods to each of you and ushers you in. Entering into the hut, I don't have a picture for the inside of the hut just yet, but getting inside the hut, there is, in the center of it, sort of a lowered area that goes down below water level, and sitting in the center of the hut is a very large, very old golden grung who is wearing a robe and has in his mouth a great long pipe. I heard Morton from the other room go,
I had my mic muted. You heard me through the two rooms.
That's perfect.
He's like in a different room in the fucking house.
Cross the fucking house. Yeah!
Yeah. This is his moistness, the chieftain of your tribe, Borlufal.
What's that he's got on his head?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Don't worry about it.
It's a word or something.
Okay, it's a wart. He is small-sized. All of these creatures are small-sized creatures.
He's big for a small-sized creature.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe.
Oh, I assume
He
so.
would be classified as a large creature.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Wow.
he's big.
He's fucking big.
Okay,
So,
okay. I see.
especially amongst the grung, which are very typically between like 2.5 to 3.5 feet tall, classified as small class creatures, Borlufal sits at a large class. He quite literally fills the room, and sort of sits there, and every now and then takes a long drag from the massive pipe that is sitting at his one side of his mouth, blowing out a huge aromatic cloud of smoke that passes you and goes through the door out into the swamp. So, what brings you here to me? Floosh falls to his knees and throws his hands in the air and goes, "Oh, your great moistness, we have heard tell of games.
Floop just like face palms
Yeah.
and pulls on her hand because it's there. You're blowing it.
oh, oh no, I'm blowing it. He like puts his hands on the sides of his head again. Roosh's older brother chimes in a little bit and goes, there has been word that the arena will be used again sometime soon for warriors to come and test themselves, show themselves and their martial strength amongst the other people of our kingdom. He nods his head slowly. I see. It seems we missed out last time, some months ago, in our ability to join in these. He looks down at Flush. Games. Flush somehow manages to shrink a little bit smaller.
She just helps him up a little bit because it's her cousin and she cares for him, even if he's like clumsy as fuck.
And he turns his pipe sort of back and forth in thought, and then lets out another great gas of this aromatic smoke from his nose that fills the room and then dissipates slowly over a few seconds. What do you think, Luke?
Well, I think it's a good opportunity to show the rest of the world that the grungs are capable creatures.
And he nods. Capable we are. Other people in this kingdom see us differently. They see us as small, sticky, wet. But we could be more.
I mean,
Perhaps we could show them our strength in a different way. At that, Roosh, the older of the two brothers, pokes up and says, I could maybe be a part of an archery contest, if that's there. The chief nods and goes, in a big noise that shakes the hut that you stand in. He then turns an eye down to Floosh, and Floosh kind of goes, I could, I don't know. He like kind of looks around, stab someone, and he like kind of like gestures to his dagger, which to him is a full-sized sword, on his side, and he goes, then looks over to Flu.
Well, Floop just basically nods. Well,
how would you like to represent our people?
we are often seen as toxic, people that cause harm. I will show them that we are just as useful as any other eater, and I will keep Floosh alive.
He nods again in a way that, again, it lets out that big and it shakes the building a little bit due to his absolutely monstrous size. Many times, the strength of growth is overlooked. He sort of gives you a wink and pats the side of his belly. It is said that the group who won
against the orcs, the most warlike of our people, was of a mixed group. Some are swift, as he looks to Roosh. Some are small, and he looks to Floosh. And some possess an easily overlooked ability to restore. You've been keeping the mushrooms outside healthy, have you?
She just nods with a very, very big smile, proud of her job.
You will go to this place and find out more.
As he says more, the building shakes a little bit more. And then he
I will
nods.
be happy to do so, His Moistness.
Floosh goes, "Oh, thank you, your moistness. That's very kind. Okay." And he turns and starts sort of actually turns and then stops, turns back towards the chief, like bows his head, walks backwards out the door, doesn't quite make it, hits the side of the door, goes, "Oh, jeez." And manages to like sort of get backwards out the door. His brother Roosh just sort of watches him go the whole way slowly, and then turns back and says, "Thank you, your moistness. We will not disappoint you." He bows and walks backwards out of the hut.
Yeah, Floosh basically does the same. She gives a very graceful bow. I will make sure that people see us as the capable being we are. And she just waddles.
I feel like this kid has to make acrobatics checks just to walk.
Oh, he is, and he's failing them. I'm rolling, like, there was rolls. There have been rolls. I'm just not showing.
He's just normally walking, and one of his feet just sticks to the floor, just doesn't like come up off the ground, just
Black. He just eats it. He is wearing shoes, but the bottoms of those shoes are either worn out or don't exist, so they're mostly for show.
Tough shoes.
As you get out, you pass by the Golden Guard again and make your way down into the village. It is still relatively early in the day, about 10 or so in the morning. Floosh looks up to you and goes, "So, but should we go?"
We'll make sure we can get there first. Let's grab some rations and whatnot.
"Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, and he kind of looks around the village. And he looks to his brother, and Roosh goes, "Yes, okay, we'll go pick up some food." You guys make your way into one of the huts that you know to actually sell certain things for you. Hold on, let me see if we can find this. I mean, this is technically the music for someone else's shop, but we'll use this anyways.
Yes.
Yes!
All right.
If it's anywhere, it's also here.
On the inside of this little hut, there is just a ton of moss everywhere. You see that there is a purple grung sitting in there, and there are like little hangers all over the ceiling that also have moss coming out of them, and a number of packages and other things sort of strewn about in the open areas, sort of surrounding the edges of this little round hut. Watching you, she brightens up as the three of you enter, and she goes,
"Oh, would some of you like to buy any of my moss?"
Josh basically just nods amicably. We're preparing to go outside of the village. We need some rations.
"Oh, how long are you going to be gone for?"
She just pauses and looks at Floosh, then recapitulates her journey.
You
Consider-
catch Lucian a rare moment where he's sort of staring into space and his mouth is open. He sort of snaps back to reality quickly and goes,
What? Did you ask me something?
How long should we be out? I'm asking you because we both know that you can make it a bit longer.
Oh, of course. And he turns to his brother. How long are we gonna be out, bro?
and Frush goes,
We should be about a day or so.
it's about a half day's travel there, and then we'll gather information and make our way back, I'm sure.
Great! Then a day it is.
The shopkeeper, she smiles and nods and goes, oh, so you'll only need about this much moss. And she takes one of the little planters down and sort of gathers it together and hands to you. You can put this into your inventory as 3 days of moss rations.
Okay, I'm gonna add it.
That'll be... She stops and sort of counts her fingers a bit. 2 silver.
Oh, I give her the silvers.
She takes it and then, like, just sort of puts it in a pile of money that's just kind of lying over in the corner of the room. And she, like, shakes her head at it. It's like, weird. And then turns back to you guys. Goes, so, can I get you anything else?
Not really, we should be fine.
Okay. Make sure to constantly keep the moss moist. You don't want it drying out on you. It tastes terrible if it's dry.
Alright, I make sure it stays moist.
you guys make your way back out into the village. And yeah, you now are standing in and amongst the buildings. Frush, the older of the 2 brothers, goes,
Okay, so I guess let's get on our way, yeah?
Yeah, let's go.
all right. So the 3 of you then begin your journey towards the Black City. Turning our attention slightly. Let's bring us back to the map here to give everybody an idea as to where we've been and where we're going. So we were, just for a little while, up here in the mountains where the monastery is located. And then just now, we were down here in the lake. The village contains all of these grung. But now we turn ourselves to a temple just east of the gates, a short ways out. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Classic Magic. Moist.
Moist.
Moist. East of the Black City, there is a large, not ruined temple, but fallen into several states of disuse. This temple is home to many of the more scaled variety of the monsters that have moved within the Kingdom of Autumneth, keeping each other company in more fashion or another. Yes, the maps do overlap a little bit, and the mouse is going to be running around a little bit on occasion because one window is behind the other. So in this large temple that is out there, this large sprawling stone structure, there lives a number of lizard folk. There's 1 or 2 draconians who live there quietly. Specifically, the one known as Bean, who is from the A-Team. She is a black draconian. There are a lot of lizard folk who live there, as well as a number of kobolds. Snek from the B-Team is also from this particular place, though he did take up residence within the palace after he began work as a janitor there for some time. Though what many will not tell you, or at the very least what many will usually avoid bringing up, is that beneath the temple there is a sprawling connection of rooms and tunnels belonging to the UNT.
Yes.
That sounds a bit wet. How about that? Doesn't sound wet
Yeah.
enough.
Sounds distant.
Moist.
We'll stick with that. So In and amongst these, you will find the last of the kingdom of the Yuan-Ti. Now, the Yuan-Ti typically come in two races. There are what is referred to as the Yuan-Ti purebloods, which look like humans if they had snake skin and other snake-like features. There are then also the Yuan-Ti abominations, which look much more like the Naga. Like they have arms and a head, but their lower half of their bodies are snakes. And yes, Palanthir, who has now just Googled this, the Yuan-Ti. What once, in their people's time, long ago, was a powerful empire that existed in the jungles to the far southeast of the continent, now, below this ground, underneath this temple, is the poisonous remains of their once proud lineage. The people that were said, at least in the old texts and in stories of your people from ages past, the ones that did survive a great calamity that destroyed your kingdom and made their way finally to Autumneth were given home here. Though they were all given the option to live as they would see fit, so long as it did not bring harm to others who lived within the kingdom. Now, it is not known to many who are outside their culture, but within the Yuan-Ti, the purebloods typically work as servants towards the abominations. The more snake-like you are, the more you are considered towards divinity. That ultimately they want to ascend to a form known as, what is it called again?
Anathema.
An anathema, which is effectively a person made of snakes. Many snakes, huge snakes, forming a singular entity.
He's lost a lot of snakes.
He's lost a lot of snakes.
That's a lot of snakes. Shit.
Pretty sure me and Warden are the only two that actually get that reference at this point.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
I am just going to quickly just gonna bring these in here so that people can kind of have a look at them in terms of what they look like, as their people may be from one way to another. This yeah, that works. Okay, cool, we'll take that image. Nope, don't do that. Here we go. Sorry about this, folks. Whew. There we go, that works. Bam. Okay. Hit bap. And then we'll go here, and then we'll go here, and then we'll get this. And then go desktop. It should be.
Oh my god, Phoenix. Actually, I happen to know a bit about the You-Want-T race.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Phoenix. Get the fuck out.
Thanks.
No, I love
You're
you.
fired.
Stay.
Get out.
Yeah.
There we go.
Tonberry is also
There we
very
go.
very familiar.
That'll
about
give us
the
a little bit
You-Want-T.
of reference for the folks at home. So this is how their people looked. So that was the purebloods on the left and the abominations on the right. They have their own sort of words for this in their culture. Let me see if I can pull up some specific information about that. Now, the purebloods who were amongst them were considered to be very largely a servant class, and it was considered amongst them to be a great honor to serve the abominations and potentially at one time the anathema. When you arrived in the kingdom, the Yuan-Ti were then given an option to then reestablish themselves with the rest of the lizard folk, which was done. The tunnels were dug out, and the subterranean temples were built. Many baths were then created, to which the purebloods maintain, much like saunas. They use different magics and whatnot to keep large heated stones in certain areas of the rooms, which they will on occasion even spray with poison from their mouths, which will create not only like a nice, steamy, hot sauna kind of environment for all of the UNT who exist there, but also a poisonous gas, so that everybody who would try to go down into their territory, which they considered to be their own, would obviously not be able to do so unless they were also similarly immune to those kinds of poisons. Now, they refer to themselves as the Vrail Olo, which is to mean the favored ones. They consider themselves to be holy, even divine in many cases. But it is typically shortened in their tongue to the Vrail. When you arrived in the kingdom, though, some of the purebloods were not so keen on continuing to work as a servant class and serve the higher-ups of a kingdom that had now fallen. So, some of them were given the option to live peaceably within the city, away from their culture, to continue living normal, peaceful lives. However, many of the Abomination UNT, as a part of this culture, now refer to them as the Duthril, or unfriendly or unfamiliar. They are basically treated as strangers or outsiders by their culture now. But we find ourselves now, specifically, on focus to a particular UNC who possesses a rare, and in what has been referred to as many, noble lineage, capability of shifting between these two forms at will. And there's something also, though, just as a quick note, the picture really doesn't tell you how big the abominations are.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's standing next to the pureblood there, and you're like, oh, so it's like a snake person and then, like, a less snake person. But the purebloods are medium-sized, normal-looking people. The abominations are fucking huge. They are large-sized creatures. They are very big. So, yes, that is that information there. So within these caverns, we find ourselves to one of the sort of royal chambers, a noble room, where you, N, find yourself. If you would like to now describe yourself to the folks at home.
N seems as standoffish and proud as any noble rightly would, within like their element of being completely surrounded by people who wait on her forever. Let me see. I can bring up this picture. I don't know if you can, but I'm gonna.
Is it the picture you have for your? Oh, that is your biopic.
No, that's the bust picture. This is the full picture.
Do you want me to do the full one?
Yeah.
Send it to me in Discord, and I'll just full screen it for people in the thing.
All right, I will minimize it on my screen and send it to you. Basically, this character. Why can't? Oh my god. Why is it so slow? This character has like desert sand colored scales. The like fiery yellowish eyes, very piercing gaze. There it is. There, upload. There we go. Thank you. And with darker spots along her various features. She has a very large cobra-like hood. Which on the back has this fierce-looking false eye pattern, similar to a monocled cobra, if you've ever seen that.
Let's just bring that up. Bam. Bam. So the folks at home can see that. Shaboom.
I don't... Yeah.
It's on the stream.
Yeah.
So that people can see it if they want.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a muscular figure, as you would expect, a fucking 13-foot snake to be. And though it's very, it would take some knowledge of the race, I assume. Probably nothing like a skill check or anything to do, but to discern her facial expression through her emotion. She experiences emotion, but she's it's very difficult to see what the expression of a snake is.
Yep. That's not one that jumps out, no.
No. But she has very kind of on just almost reaching domineering stature. But yeah, that's about it.
All right. Yeah, you find yourself in one of your usual rooms. There is one of the purebloods off to one side. She is tending to the hot stone that you have that is both sort of used for it's heated up extra to use to kind of create that sauna environment in the room, as well as a bed at times for you to sleep on. Shortly after, and in a moment, as you're sort of enjoying the calm, in through the door. Hold on, God, it's not letting me drag. There we go. In through the door comes one of the others that you know. Oh, I've got to change it so people at home can see that. Bow. He is another abomination. He has his sword slung over his back. It's not currently drawn. And his arms are braced with these large, ornate gold and purple bracers. His arms folded in front of himself in a way that is most unimpressed with the general comings and goings of things in general. And he sort of gives a cold glance over to the pureblood servant who's working in the corner before speaking. Leave us. Before leaving, the pureblood turns to you for confirmation.
Yes. Why are you disturbing my relaxation?
The pureblood bows and walks back out. The abomination continues standing in the room, giving almost no attention whatsoever to the pureblood leaving.
Yeah, she doesn't speak and does not speak to the pureblood.
No. So he comes in, and he sort of does like the UNC version of like pacing a circle around the room. It is in a way, as it is custom amongst your people, almost threatening in how he sort of moves in a circle around you as he speaks, only giving you one of his eyes at a time. And as he does so, he says, "There is word. It spreads on the surface. Word of their people going back to the world outside."
And?
Well, you, of such noble lineage, he says with obviously a tinge of irony to that, must surely know that our kingdom still lies in ruins. Does it not interest you?
Of course it interests me. I have been studying how to try and take back our kingdom for most of my life. Of course this interests me.
Generations we remained beneath the surface, and beneath again in this our temple. He gestures up. Not before have we made attempts
to go. It is said it was too dangerous, but some think that our leaders lack strength to do so.
There's
What say
there's almost a scoff, almost a scoff when he says that. Just
This bitch.
like, this bitch, like, well, I would band together all of my people and all of our people and trudge directly into the belly of the beast and take back everything that we've claimed. But I know that marching forward with such pride, reckless pride, would get us all killed. I believe that we need a steady mind during this. If we are to take back anything from those monsters, then we need to work together and sanely before we brandish our weapons everywhere and just claim that we know more than absolutely everyone.
He nods as he continues to listen and slither about in a circle around the edge of the room. And he says,
True, if we were to brandish our full strength and fail, our people would be lost, our divinity extinguished forever. Though to say such would almost, as he turns to smile at you, sounds as an admission of weakness.
I just stare at him.
"You're rolling intimidate."
All
I want
right.
to see how bad how this goes.
Wait. First of all, I need to switch this over because I had a thing. Yeah, there we go. Intimidate. Warden's muted. Warden's muted.
Yeah, no, I heard him in the distance go, "Wow."
Like, look at like I got 2 crit fails. My
Yeah,
shit.
super failed. But that's the thing, though, is that like this, and that's a big thing that I bring up for like a lot of people for D&D, and that is
Not
just like
pathetic.
the
Not
moments
pathetic.
of failure are way better.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
in this
I'm just saying,
particular
like,
case, you silently stare at him, and he swallows and kind of, and sort of turns himself back up, trying to square his shoulders a little bit, and goes,
Though it would only be the less intellectually inclined among us who would see things so short-sightedly. I'm sure you understand.
Of course, I understand the way that the people think.
As one in your position should do, my lady.
I do not assume that we are weak. I assume that our strength resides not just in our physical prowess, but in our intelligence and cunning. We are not a roving band of brutish rabble.
We are not thieves. We do not take.
We do not
simply
take.
own.
And that which was taken from us will be regained. But only if we have a steady mind.
Your noble lineage is not to be questioned, but there is one other amongst our people who has the same blood as you. He would see this chance to move to the surface as a test. We have been here for many generations. If we were to take our home, our lands again, we would need to prove our strength to each other.
And kind of, considers this. So you are you propose a show of strength towards our own people, not to those outside.
Not just to our people, but to all in this kingdom. Perhaps the king may be able to assist us. But if you were to show yourself stronger and a more capable leader, then the others would be more inclined to follow once more.
Now, this is something that you're aware of, that while you are considered a noble amongst these people, and that you are more or less a leader of the Yuan Ti that exist within this temple, the general hierarchy has been, as of late, over the last few generations, been taken into question. Because many of them, also proud Yuan Ti abominations, see themselves as having to hide, and they're like, well, then shouldn't the people who are supposed to be in charge go fix this? Like, aren't we supposed to be big, cocksure, amazing, awesome dudes? What the fuck? And prancing about with our heads full of eyeballs? Like, what the hell, dude? So, yeah. And it has been sort of whispered in darker places amongst the temple that perhaps the people who are not in charge, or the people who are in charge of your culture, should not be anymore. That, like, with many of the purebloods choosing to live free in the city, and with many of the other things going on, it's considered strange that you guys would be still here and not taking action. Many times it has been assured that you guys are simply building up your numbers and, like, ensuring that everybody is healthy and strong, and when we're ready, we'll go and stop asking. We'll get there when we get there kind of situation. But, like, every now and then there needs to be a show of strength.
Yeah.
And this has presented itself as a unique opportunity to do so.
Okay. So En just kind of thoughtfully rubs the oil into her arm, like the poisonous oil of the saunas into her arms.
Her big, beefy fucking arms.
Beefy fucking arms. Oh yeah, she glistening.
Yeah, she got them big snake arms. Them pythons.
Them pythons. Not yet, I mean. Okay. Does okay, at a game, do I know this this other's name? Not this one speaking to me, but this other one.
Yes.
I feel like I should.
As a matter of fact, the other Yuan Ti abomination who's capable of shifting into the pureblood human-sized form is your brother.
All right.
Is by the name of Furlak.
All right. So is this your way of telling me that Furlak wishes to speak with me?
He sort of eyes you at one side and says,
I do not believe he wishes to speak to you. This is me showing you that I believe you should be the one to lead us. Furlak would like to take this opportunity to prove his strength and to take this temple for his own.
I'm gonna make an insight check to see if this guy's on the level on my side or his.
Yeah, roll it. With a 12, you're not sure. What this looks like to you is a classic case of, I'm going to put you both in this box, and whoever survives gets to be the person in charge.
Yeah.
That, like, he's not telling you that he's on your side, but he is
He's
telling
like,
you what's
there
going
needs
on
to be
so
some
that you have
fucking
an opportunity to
leadership.
defend yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So
If you prove yourself to be stronger, then you will have won the support of our people.
she stretches where she's lying and gets up from her seat like a good fucking how tall is this bitch?
She's a tall bitch.
Well, actually, she might just be long. Let me see.
She a long
Yeah, she's. Why did I just say fucking 7 feet tall? She is 7 feet tall. Stupid weird rolls. Anyway.
But she got a lot of tail.
But she also. She's also more tail than that.
Yeah, as Esteban wrote, this is me telling you your brother's a moron and he's gonna start some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So. Give me the details of this proposal.
He smiles and leans in close.
There is a tavern in the Black City, run by some trolls and other unsavory folk. They are meeting there. You get information there, and you write your name down and sign up there. They can tell you more. They will tell you when the contest will be held at the arena.
Alright. So, I move towards the door and speak back to him. Is there... Wait, no. No, I don't speak to him about this. Is there, like, I would have my own, like, chambers and stuff in this place.
Yes, you are currently in your chambers now.
Oh, this is my chambers. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
big old
All right,
room with
dope.
big old heat rock.
Fucking dope. All right, then I go and then I don't go towards the door. I go through my things. Like I just go to like a wardrobe or something and start collecting like my sword, my scimitar,
Yeah.
and my shield. And I don't really like I equip them, but I don't have them like readied. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're just like, you get them on.
I get them on. I get some traveling stuff like a pack of some sort slung over.
Oh, yes. Now, you have, in and amongst your things, a special thing.
A special thing.
It is an armor that was passed down to you from your ancestors. It is an armor that appears to be of golden plate.
Ooh. I'm a fan of this.
Yes. This armor in specific shines with an ostentatious gold, and any attempt to filth it in any kind of way to make it dirty seems to have no effect, as it has the ability to maintain itself in its perfect clean state, shining in gold at all times. it gives you 1 additional point of armor from regular plate mail, and in addition to that, it also changes size with you.
Amazing.
So when you magically shift from your abomination form down into a human size, it changes with you.
All right. So
Ask me for more about that after the stream. I'll
fair
tell
enough.
You.
So
I will give you details because that's all. It's all like I have notes written down for
What?
it that I'm like, yeah, this is magic item stuff that you can get, which is like.
Well, then how much armor
that
class
transforms with you? And
is it? Because I might need to know that.
The AC for plate mail. Let's.
Or how about
have
I
a
just
look.
it's just plate mail plus 1?
Yeah,
right?
it's plate mail plus 1.
Right.
And it has breastplate plus 1, so that will give you an AC of 14 plus 1.
For now, I'm just gonna add breastplate plus 1 to my equipment so that it corrects the stuff.
And it has like a magical item quality that makes it so it doesn't get dirty. I will tell you the proper name for that later, as it seems to have escaped my memory.
Dope.
And it does change sizes with you, as magical armors will typically do so.
That's a
And I
very
was
Game
like,
Master voice,
dope,
yeah.
we'll add it. We'll put it on. We'll put it on the list. All right. So you get your things together. Do you don your armor?
Oh yes, absolutely I do.
Dope.
I get a pureblood to assist me with squiring up the armor.
As
I
you
don't
take
speak
your
to the
armor
damn
out
thing.
of its out of its casing, the other abomination who's in the room with you, like, slithers over to the door and motions, and the pureblood who was in the room with you re-enters the room and immediately starts to assist you in donning your armor.
All right. Like, I might not.
She was apt to leave earlier.
Yeah. Like, I might not need assistance to put on the armor, but I mean, come on. Come on. If I have the opportunity.
Yeah, Estebane's like, I like to think that this is the king going, I think we got a good thing going with all these Black Ops teams going to the surface. B team sends back a massive number of slaves. Yeah, it's a good idea. I need more teams. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, more teams. So yes, you don your armor in all of its opulence, and yeah.
Did he give
once you
me the
finish
name of the
doing so-
tavern?
What's that?
Did he give me the name of the tavern?
He did not, though he does tell you it is Gray's Tavern.
Gray's Tavern. All right. I'm on my way there.
Dope.
And I just leave. Like,
As you leave, he bows to you as you go and follows you out. Though immediately once you like get out your doorway, he goes a different direction, so as to not be seen with you.
Yep.
As you are leaving and you're making your way back up to the surface area, you get to the large stone entrance that is in between the surface temple where the lizard folk live. And the Yuan-Ti temple that is subterranean. You see, just walking up to the door as you're about to leave, Getkick, who is the matriarch of the lizard people on the surface. She is carrying in her hands a collection of like drinks and some food that has been prepared. Different kinds of meat in varying states of being cooked, and different things. As you are coming forward up to the entrance, she looks up and sees you and goes, "Ah, yes, it is good to see you." So shiny.
as is usual, I'm staring down my nose at her.
Oh yes.
She's also much smaller than me.
Oh, she's super small compared to you. She stands about 4.5 feet to around 5 feet tall. She's pretty small for a lizard person. But she is known to be the matriarch of the lizard people. She's sort of their spiritual leader, giving people advice and carrying people on. She's also super adorable, and despite how abrasive a lot of the Yuan-Ti people can be at times, she's still shown a great deal of kindness.
Yeah.
That she's always warm and she's always very supportive of whatever you guys are doing. And oftentimes brings you offerings of meat and drink. And there she is standing there with it again. And as she looks up to you regarding your opulent, shiny armor, she holds up the tray to you and says, "Something before you go?"
And I look over the various meats, and I take something like chicken sized, like Cornish hen sized. Like a snack,
Yeah.
you know?
There are, like, sliced meats of varying creatures of, like, pig and beef and pork, and chicken that are, like, on one side of the plate. They are, like, seasoned and raw, and then there's, like, salted stuff, and then there's lightly cooked, and then there's, like, heavily cooked meat on one end of the plate.
All right, I take something raw, but salted, I suppose, and then I just pop it in my mouth and swallow it. The relationship, I believe, that that my character and her would have, or at least the way that N tends to interact with this character, is begrudging respect. Like, I know what you're doing. You're fine.
Yeah.
Great, but
you're whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
As you take the meats, she smiles warmly and gives you a little curtsy, and then continues to the opening of the door where she then places the tray down on like a stone offering table that has been put up there.
And I'm sure like some purebloods would go and deal with that.
Oh yeah, almost immediately once
Like
she sets it
immediately,
down,
yeah.
one of the purebloods, he walks up and like takes the tray and bows to her, and then goes back down into the temple.
And I just leave.
Yeah. So you head on out to the Soifus.
The Soifus.
And God, it's 10 o'clock. God damn. Have we been going for 3 hours already? Holy shit.
It's been about an hour per introduction.
We have like 15 more minutes. We could keep going.
I'm down
We
for
started a bit
another
late.
5 hours if I.
I am down to keep going as well.
Yeah.
Same.
So it's
Casey, are
entirely
you
up to
good?
you.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, sweet.
It's entirely up
So,
to your schedule at this point, Doc.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just finished introducing the characters because I wanted to like really get in on a lot of the characters themselves. Like I really wanted to get in on some development because it's just like in this particular case, the characters given were like very, at least to me, very juicy. Like there was a lot to really dig into there. That I could definitely like build on, and it was lots of new areas in and amongst the kingdom that we could put together. So this was very exciting for me. I got really fucking jazzed for this.
Yeah.
I have to say, I love my cousin Flush.
Yeah.
Nah, he's adorable. He's a disaster, but he's adorable. So-
We started late, so like we've only been going for about 2.5 hours. Like I that is at the once you went like out of your countdown. Once your countdown was over, it's been 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Let's go to this. Let's go to where is it? Where is it? There you are. So
The
we
game
cut back
session less than 10 is a
to
rookie number.
the 3 keepers and one of the keepers' girlfriends traveling through the woods on their way to the city.
Aw, the orc lady's called Keeper 2.
Yeah, they're all. If they're monks of the monastery and they step outside the monastery, they're all keepers.
Yeah.
They're all considered keeper.
Right. It's at about this time that I stop and realize, shit, I forgot all my stuff back at the monastery.
We'll say that you grabbed your traveling things just as you went.
Okay.
Which is fine.
I can run pretty fast, so if I realize it soon enough, I can make it back, grab my stuff, and rejoin everybody without too much time passing.
So, as you're traveling through the woods, the fire genasi who is walking with you, Tirthar, she turns and says, "So you're all keeper, then? That's everyone's name? Doesn't that get confusing?"
No. Look, And I turn to I turn to
Keeper.
Furkick, and I go, Keeper?
And he turns to you and nods and goes,
Keeper.
very happily.
And I turn back to her and go, see?
And she just shrugs and goes, all right, seems pretty fucking weird to me. Gushar, though, speaks up and is just like, you don't have any problems calling me Keeper. And she's like, shut up. Shut up. That's not for other people to hear. Shut the fuck up. Why don't you? The two of them sort of jeer and smile as they walk along. You guys, walking through the woods, eventually find your way to a small path. Not necessarily on the map, but it does lead inward towards the city proper. As you guys are walking, let me see if I can find his picture. As you guys are walking, you are met silently at a fork in the road as one small path also merges into yours. Walking along that path is another orc who is walking the road in the same direction as you. He's fucking beefy.
That's a big bitch. Oh,
That he's ripped.
This guy is real beefy. Seeing you guys walk along, he says nothing. As you can see, he has like a large iron belt around his waist with the picture of a beast on it, and seems to wear what appears to be like a leather kilt attached to it. He wears nothing on the upper half of his body and has huge fucking tusks, and his hair is pulled into a knot at the back. Most of you know that that orcs really don't, especially orc men, don't grow a lot of hair on the top of their head. It's usually just in the back, so them keeping it in a knot is rather common. Silently, he looks at you and then continues walking in the same direction as you.
I rolled an insight check.
You rolled an insight. With 10, he's not a threat.
Fair.
He just kind of gave each of you like a look over and then continued walking.
Can I take 10? Like, since we're walking and we're just kind of,
Yeah, as you guys are moving
taking
in
our
the same
way.
direction, absolutely take 10. What does that put you at?
That puts me up to 17.
That puts you up to 17.
To kind of really give him a good scan, like a good looking over.
You can definitely tell by the fact that he's walking with no travel rations, and appears to be built very well, that he's absolutely a fighter. You can tell by the calluses on his hands that he might be a fist fighter of some kind, that at very least that he has been used to punching things for some time. In addition to that, you would know that sort of like in the moment that he sort of met you guys as the two of the paths merged together, he did sort of size you up in a bit.
All of us, or me specifically?
Each of you.
Okay.
He sort of gave each of you a little, what appeared to be a passing glance was something that you would recognize as absolutely, like, measuring a person.
Yep.
In some regard. But he continues to walk quietly. He does not seem threatening in any way, shape, or form. He moves silently as he goes along.
Okay. All right. As the paths converge and as our two walking paths kind of run into each other, how far away is he keeping from our group?
He maintains a solid pace. So as
Is he in front of us or
path
behind us?
sort of met you guys, he is just behind you, like maybe 10, 15 feet behind you guys.
Okay, so he's keeping a steady pace behind us.
Yeah, like he
I'm
doesn't
gonna
speed up or slow down.
Okay, I'm gonna try and keep an eye trained on him at all times, just to be aware. And as I walk, I'm gonna ready an action in case he makes any sort of sudden movements in our direction. The action I'm gonna ready is parrying his whatever he does. Like if he makes an attack or strikes with a fist, judging by the calluses on his fists. If he strikes with his fists, I'm gonna move to parry it.
Okay.
But other than that, I continue walking alongside my my compatriots. We kind of quiet down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As we know, I'm gonna use my telepathic ability to communicate silently with Gashar.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's her name? Yeah, it's Gashar.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Gashar. Gashar. And I'm just gonna tell her, keep an eye on this guy. Be ready, like, you know what I mean?
She just nods as she's walking. She doesn't look to you. Furkick looks very nervous as he's walking next to you, kind of like looking around.
I'm gonna message him with telepathy and just say, don't worry. We're keeping an eye on him. Be ready, just in case. This is normal for being outside of the monastery. You're gonna see a lot of new things here. You're gonna see all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Some of them can be very scary, but most of them are just good people who are just trying to make their own way in life.
Yeah, he nervously looks to you and nods and thinks back.
I trust you.
Don't worry, I've got an eye on you. You've got a group of us here.
Okay. Noticing that it's definitely got a lot quieter as you guys were walking along, Turthar kind of looks to each of you and then looks back at the orc behind you guys and goes, "Oh, he's a big motherfucker. Hey, buddy!" And she calls back to him, like, "You good?" And she stops to more or less confront him. The orc walks up to her and just quietly bows. And then silently steps around her and then continues down the path.
I twitch my antenna in intrigue at the respect he's showing. In the few times that I've been outside, people have usually been kind and courteous towards people of my of my monastery, of my sect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very rarely that I encounter a sort of mutual respect and professionalism from people. Usually, it's just it's courtesy, but it's not the same sort of yeah.
Yeah, many people know that any of your kind that come down from the monastery, like if they see any of you, they know that you're from there and that you're good people. The only Thrycreen that live within the kingdom live in that monastery. So if they see any of you guys, they know to typically refer to you as keepers, and they know that you're kind folk. That you're not going to try to rob somebody or swindle anyone or attack anybody or anything like that. But so, yeah. This massive orc just nods silently and then just continues to move around and then continues down the road.
Okay, I study his features and kind of commit him to memory, and say, all right, I'll keep an eye on this guy.
Awesome.
But then we continue on our way.
Yeah, he takes off. After a little bit of standing there. In silence as he continues to walk off into the distance. Eventually, Turthar is just like, all right, and shrugs, and then you guys continue on your path. The path goes relatively nothing else really happens on your way to the doors of the city.
Okay.
Now, KC needed to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
She needed to step away from her computer for a hot moment.
She might have.
Which is okay.
You can move on to something else, or I can continue
to Trish's trip. Let's have a look. Bap. Dope. So, for the most part, Spoots, does N travel on roads, or does she make her way through the trees?
She would be on the roads.
Okay. And are you in your larger abomination form?
Absolutely, I am.
Yeah. As you're going, really, there's not a whole lot of people out that usually take these roads, except for in the early and the later half of the day, going to and from the city, if that. But as you're slithering along the road, you do see there is a couple of goblins who see you coming from a distance and go, "Oh!" and then get off the road. And they immediately make it for a ditch somewhere where they don't necessarily hide so much as they just like stand off to one side. One of them takes a little ratty hat that he has. He takes it off and puts it over his chest and sort of waves politely at you as you go past.
I, like, with only my eyes, I glance down at this fellow who waved as I continue at the exact same pace past, and this is why I take the road.
Yeah, exactly. You roll me perception.
All right, 1 second.
Okay, what's your passive perception?
My passive perception is 15.
Okay, cool. So you got it. As you're making your way into the distance down the road, you hear a ways back behind you, one of the goblins go, "Holy shit!" They put their hat back on and then continue along their way. Now, the other stuff that I got planned for you only happens when you get to the city. Is
That's
Casey
fine.
back yet? Casey?
All right. That big orc dude. Like,
Yes.
that's... What is it? Smoking gun? No. What's the word? Warden, what's the term I'm looking for? The
Chekhov's gun?
Chekhov's gun. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got huge Chekhov's gun vibes. Like
Watch me never bring him up again.
yeah,
You're
well.
gonna be like, who the fuck was that orc?
The second I say that's got Chekhov's gun vibes, and you're like, and delete that character.
And
All
I
right.
will now delete this character forever. You will
Only
never
spent
see
3
him
hours.
again. No.
Gave him a whole ass backstory. I don't like. Well, guess he doesn't fucking exist. Oh man. So and this armor, I'm just. Gee, thanks for the shining beacon of light in the darkness.
Hey, you can wear a cloak over it if you want, but
I mean,
yeah.
And like I didn't write it down, but my character has a cloak.
Yes.
I meant to write that into my
It
thing.
is
Like I have
absolutely
a
a
cloak.
part of like a traveler's kit.
Yeah. Okay.
Is like a cloak that you can wear, just like a standard brown cloak. You could even say that it like carries your house symbol if you have one on the back of it.
I feel like my house symbol is just like this. You know the like Greek artistry of like the Medusa head. Just remove the face and put more little snakes, and that's that. It's just a ball of snakes.
Big old ball of snakes.
But it's you know it's artful. It was carved with veneration, you know.
I was gonna say it might be that big old false eye that you have on your back.
Could be the big old false eye. You know what? If that's my house symbol, if that's my house, then yeah, absolutely. Because I assume that anybody born from the same parentage as N was would probably have at least something similar on the back of their neck or back, or if they have a cobra hood, their cobra hood.
All the other members of your family directly have had similar sort of like yellowish to goldish scales with that big false eye that's on the back. That when you change down into your the pureblood form, your human shape, is just on your chest, just below your collarbone.
Okay.
If that sounds cool.
Yeah,
I have returned. Sorry for the absence.
You're back.
I feel like it would
Hooray!
either be on the chest, just below the collarbone, or like on the back, like similarly shaping around the shoulder blades and stuff like that. But if you're saying it's on my chest, it's on my chest.
Sure.
All right.
If you'd like to have it on a different place when you change into your pure blood form, we can say that just as easily.
All right.
You want to have it like on your forehead?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well,
my character's not psionic. If you're psionic, then maybe.
Fair enough. We could say it's in different places depending on who you are.
Alright.
So, Floop,
Yes, that's me.
you are the last now traveling through the woods, heading towards the city. do you take the larger roads, or do you stick to the sort of smaller footpaths in the trees?
I'm not too comfortable being wide in the open, so we'll stick to the tiny path.
Okay. So as you guys are making your way along, it's the the little group of you and Floosh and Roosh are moving along through this tiny path in the trees. You suddenly hear sort of coming from the right as you're moving, so coming from the east as you're heading north, you hear something coming along the trees.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
You hear something walking along. Roll me. They don't have nature checks anymore, do they? Have
Yeah, they do.
survival checks.
Yes, they do. They have both.
Is it nature?
Okay. Nature is like knowing what things are in nature, and survival is how to get around nature.
Mm-hmm.
So nature?
Yeah, roll a nature check. Oh fuck. The great sound of it absolutely takes you by surprise, and you're not exactly sure what it is. You see, moving through the trees in a way that's like what's your passive perception?
Let me check.
Like 10 plus your wisdom, so 13. You see a huge creature moving through the trees, and I do mean huge. This is this thing takes up 3 squares by 3 squares on a map. That has been seen by the B team and is now a resident in the woods, a great big white bear creature.
Oh boy.
Word
This
in the
thing-
background.
Yeah, I heard that. Oh my god. It's a bear. You see this thing moving along through the trees, and it seems to be moving in such a way so that it doesn't knock any of the trees down, though it does seem to fail on occasion, knocking a tree over, which appears to be on accident. You see, walking around it, sort of in and around in front of it ish, is an orc who's dressed up in sort of travel gear, and he's got like a staff as he's walking in front of him, and he's just like, yeah, okay, just don't, okay, watch the tree, yep, okay, yeah, just yeah, no, duck, yeah, duck under those branches, it's good. And this great big bear just like kind of walks along and moves its way sort of one side to another. Yeah. Do you attempt to hide?
I'm gonna look at Roosh, who is a bit more used to wandering in nature, what his first reflex is.
Oh, Roosh, after seeing the creature come into the open, goes, "Oh, right, yeah," and he kind of steps out into an opening nearby and goes, "Hello," and waves. And the orc just goes, "Oh, hello," and waves back to you. The huge bear looks down and holds up one of its paws and goes, and like sort of closes it and opens its paw a few times in an approximation of waving.
Oh, that's cute as shit.
Yeah. Floosh, not really sure what's going on, has his head down in like a lump of grass, and isn't moving.
I pat Floosh's back and they're friendly. You can come out.
He goes, oh, okay, and he sort of looks up and he goes, "That's supposed to be friendly?"
Well, he just waved.
I'm surprised he didn't die of a heart attack right there.
Yeah, the bear, seeing the two of you, turns its attention and again gives like the sort of grabby hands motion it's doing, and it's an approximation of a wave. It goes, "Oh!" And let's see if he passes out. Floosh doesn't make it. He passes right out. Floosh has fallen unconscious in that moment.
Oh no, not again!
The massive creature, which you can identify as what would be a werebear, but like way too big, continues to then make its way through the trees. And moves along with what appears to be his orcish handler, walking along with him. He waves goodbye to each of you as he moves along.
I wave back hurriedly and look at Floosh and then at Rouge.
He is unconscious. Rouge rolls his eyes and walks over, and like gives his brother a little like patty pat on the face.
I'm sure that would be a much more wet sound.
Yeah, this like. Floosh like wakes up and goes, am I dead?
No, you're not.
Oh. Hooray.
Did I kill it?
Did we win?
And Rouge is like,
Yeah, you got him, buddy. You're good. He goes, oh, hooray. Oh, good. Right, so let's keep going.
you guys continue along, and the path on the rest of the way to the city is relatively uneventful. There is one more thing that we want to do, and that's involving Spooty-Poots' character, N. Just as you're approaching on the main roads, the massive black gates to the city, you see, just off to one side, off to your right, sitting appears to be a huge fucking stone ogre. It is sitting on its ass on one side of the road, and it's furrowing its brow as it's holding in its hands a piece of paper.
I waddle to the guy and I go, oh, hello!
Oh, sorry. I want to give Spoots' character a chance to do something first.
No, this is my scenario.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, this is in your scenario, so I'm sorry to jump back and forth. But you do see this character before you enter the city.
Like I'm really trying to assume that my character would or try and figure out how my character would be at all interested in what the hell this guy's doing.
Which is fair. You can say you do nothing and you continue on your way.
Yeah,
totally
he's not coming at me, so I'm just gonna keep going.
No, he's super focused.
He's
on
so
whatever
focused.
it is
Like this tiny little piece of paper, like.
It is a normal human-sized piece of paper, but to his massive fucking paws appears to be like. Remember that like Community gag where Chang is looking at the piece of paper and it's like wicked small, and as he squints at it, it's like that.
Yeah.
Like it's tiny.
It's so hard for him to not just destroy this piece of paper in his big mitts.
Yeah, he's really trying. Like
how much?
He's got like all his fingers pointed out as he's holding it with just his thumb and index finger with both of his hands.
Like I assume this fellow's bigger than me in height and width.
He is a huge class creature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, jeez.
So some of the roads and things within the city are definitely not accommodated to his size, which might be why he's sitting out here just outside the city. Like the big gates, definitely big enough for him to get in, but the city at large might not necessarily be able to accommodate.
Like I'm also going to assume that my character, though, if she has ever even been into the city, she would be very unfamiliar with most of it. Because if she even leaves the temple, it would be not commonly.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you definitely don't leave the temple very often, and whenever like supplies or other things are needed from the city proper, it's oftentimes that the purebloods are sent to go do those sorts of things for you as you continue about your personal business. So you being present in the city is definitely a rarity. Never happened before, not impossible, but certainly rare.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, do you just continue into the city?
I continue into the city.
All right. Shortly after, Floosh, and God, what was his name?
Roosh.
Floop, Floosh, and Roosh make their way up to the gate. You also see this massive creature sitting off to one side, frowning at a piece of paper.
I waddle to the big guy and just go, oh, hello!
He sort of like he's frowning at this paper, like focusing super hard. Then his brows kind of relax and go up, and he turns down to you and goes, "Oh!" And he sort of gives a little wave.
I point at the paper and just go, you need help with that?
He brings the paper down to you so that you can have a look at it. And it's just a sheet of normal human-sized paper, so it's kind of big for you. But it's got, just printed in the center of it, it's just the word words. It says words on the center of the piece of paper. And he sort of looks confused as he holds it up to you, and then he points at the paper and goes, "Oh."
It's the word.
He looks confused.
I just softly pat at his giant bracer to make sure I don't poison him with my hand. And you're doing okay. You're doing great.
And he nods and goes, and then he goes back to staring at the paper, frowning really hard as he does. Super focused.
She just gestures to her cousins to just move along.
Yeah, Floosh and Roosh are standing like 30 feet away from you. Like they don't want to get too close to this thing. They're afraid they're gonna get eaten. But yeah, as you're like, no, it's cool, and you continue into the city, they both like nod and then follow after you. And last but certainly not least, the three keepers and their traveling compatriot Turthar make their way up to the gate. You, as well, see this massive creature sitting at the side of the road as you're entering into the town.
Do I see Floop and the other Grung?
You do not. No,
Okay.
They've entered into the city.
This is after. Okay.
Yeah. You guys, I'm gonna say, are like a few minutes apart. We're not. We're gonna introduce you guys next episode.
Yep.
I'm so excited.
Yep. Totally fair. Just figured I'd ask. Yeah, I guess I'll give him an insight check. See what I can glean. Boop. Insight.
Truthfully.
Wow.
Truthfully, you have never seen a creature like this before.
Wow. I marvel in
the time that you've even been in this kingdom, you have never seen a member of his species. You can see that he's definitely focused on whatever's on that paper. He's trying real hard to solve that puzzle. But yeah, it's hard to get a read on. You've never seen one before.
I marvel in his size, just how absolutely bonkers huge he is. And then I noticed that he's like seemingly focused on trying to deduce whatever it is in his hand. And I'll walk over to him and I hold the hand up, just kind of in greeting and kind of peaceful, like hello greeting, like just open palm forward. Greetings as I kind of say hello.
The square wave.
No.
No. You can do it with all four arms now. Like hello.
As you walk by and you give him a wave, he just notices you. As he looks up from his paper, he sort of again like puts up one hand. He just sort of raises a hand in a waving gesture and just goes, "Oh!" as you guys go by, and then immediately goes back to focusing on his paper.
I kind of walk up to him and just kind of ask him, "Hello, do you require aid?"
And he again, he's like, shows you the piece of paper. It's a piece of paper that just says words on it, and he points to it with his one massive finger and goes, "Oh!"
Insight check on the piece of paper?
I mean, it's just a
Or perception. I'm not sure what it would.
He's holding it right up to you.
Right. I'm trying to deduce if there's any sort of code or encoded meaning or any sort of deeper, like
Yeah,
you
go
know what
for
I mean. What should I do? Like insight or perception?
Yeah, roll perception.
Not 20.
Nice. And here's the overarching plot line of our game.
Like, the dice have been absolutely shitting on you all night, and then you get a nat 20, and it's to deduce that this is, in fact, it's a common piece of paper. Somebody just wrote words on it, and they gave it to him, and it's hard to tell why. It might be just to occupy his time.
Yeah.
But, like...
Okay.
There's nothing else to it.
There's no code. There's no hidden meanings. There's no nothing. All right. So then I turn and I look at him and I go, "It just says words, friend. There's nothing further to this piece of paper. It says words. If you know words, you have solved this puzzle."
He looks very confused. He scratches the side of his massive head. Ugh.
Okay. You smart. You get it. Good job. And I give him like thumbs up with all 4 arms.
Wait. You gotta roll something for this. Hold on.
Deception.
I was like, there's no diplomacy anymore.
No.
They got rid of that.
Persuasion.
Yeah, you know what?
Probably
Yeah,
with advantage.
Roll persuasion with advantage.
9.
As you like give him 4 thumbs up, and you're like, "You got it. You've solved this puzzle." He goes, "Oh!" and he eats the paper.
And I kind of like cheer him on as he does it, like clap for him with
Give
all
it
4
an
arms.
entire round of
Yeah.
applause.
You did it, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
Cheers in a way that is cacophonously loud. It goes, "Yay!" And claps his massive hands together. And fucking roll me acrobatics. You don't fall over. The ground, like, it's deafeningly loud when he claps his huge fucking mitts together. And then he gets up and walks off into the woods. That's it.
All right.
Waves to you as he goes, "Oh," as he's going.
All right. Well, I kind of like watch him go, like as I kind of watch him disappear into the woods, and I go, "Man, what a fascinating creature." Then I turn to Ferk, and I say, "Do you see, brother? Like all sorts of wondrous and strange people out here, and we can share our knowledge. We can share our way with them, and in that we can improve their lives. We can make their lives better. That great brute was fumbled and stumbled on apparently nothing, but you know what I mean? Just with some simple all he needed was some support, was a little bit of praise and some reassurance. And with that,
turning over to Furkick, you notice that he was like a shade white. Like he had sort of almost instinctively like changed his outer carapace to like match his surroundings so that he wouldn't be seen as easily. But as you're talking to him, he sort of like turns back to his sort of natural brown color, his sort of yellowish brown, and he nods. As you're like, "Yeah, this guy just needed help. Like, look, he just needed a hand with some stuff." And he sort of nods and goes,
Fascinating.
mm-hmm.
and then you guys make your way into the city. And with that, we're gonna call game.
No.
You guys
Sad
met
puppy eyes.
Ogron.
Ogron.
That's Ogron. He's
I haven't-
a mountain ogre that so far all the groups have met thus far.
Nice.
I like having great characters. And I was like, I'm just gonna put him out there. He's gonna have a piece of paper that says words on it.
You know,
I have a theory about that. I'm pretty sure that's just one of the guards of the city that gave him the paper to make sure
Yeah.
he doesn't enter the city.
his presence seems to be just naturally disruptive, so it's entirely possible that somebody just wrote that on a piece of paper and was like,
Figure it
solve
out.
this mystery, and gave it to him, and he was like, and sat down and like just started trying to, but he
Hasn't
can't read,
moved
he
for
can't
a
even
week.
talk mostly, so he like so he was stumped on that for a while, but
What
you
have
got
I
it.
done? Well,
Oh, Keeper has unleashed a monster upon the city.
Yeah, well, he wandered off into the trees,
Yeah.
seemingly forgot that he wanted to get into the city. So whatever person gave him that paper definitely
Succeeded.
achieved whatever goal that
Yeah.
they were trying to do. To keep him out. But yes, hello Shadow Fox, as well as Scion Celifar, all of the lovely new people that we've got coming on in here. Hello and welcome. Come on in, pull up a seat.
Yeah.
We are just wrapping our game for now. Every Thursday, we do 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons on Roll20 here on our channel. This group that we're currently wrapping up right now is the A team, and the B team is another group of people that we have who are running a campaign elsewhere in the universe of Immeron, rather on this continent, a random universe that I've kind of made up. As it stands, this campaign is what is known as a monster campaign. So all of the characters in this are of monstrous races that live in a massive subterranean monstrous kingdom. So imagine the game Dungeon Keeper, except bigger and more monsters and more society sort of involved in that.
Yeah. If Dungeon Keeper,
3 days.
if Dungeon Keeper were Star Wars, this would be Star Trek.
Yeah. That's actually a very good way of putting it. Yeah, and then every other week we swap teams. So A teams on one week, B teams on the other week, and it goes back and forth. So with that though, that's our game, ladies and gentlemen.
What'd you guys think of my character? I can't.
I like her.
I can't
Yeah,
see
sound
your
up.
chat.
Mr. Classic Magic is saying 11 out of 10. This was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have been really. Fucking Rainer says this is glorious.
Oh.
Clay was really excited about all these characters. Yeah, like. Oh yeah, and if everybody who's watching, if you want, you can continue to sort of keep up with our community in the Discord, of which there's a link down below. We stream about 7 to 10 p.m. ish Eastern time, and we go for about, I'm gonna say, like every Thursday we do D&D, and then Monday to Friday though, the other days, I'm typically playing other games like recently we've been doing the Outer Worlds as well as Vermintide, Sea of Thieves, things like that. Yeah. Emmy Loves says this is great. Rainer says she's a scary woman.
Yeah. I don't think
That's a
Floop's
point.
that. I don't think
Wants
Floop's
it.
that scary.
You would be surprised.
Yeah. That is the game that we've got going on. So thank you everybody for coming out. I have been your dungeon master, your kind of benevolent DM this evening, Dr. Terwat. This is our Lair 4.0, and we are joined by our 3 wonderful players that we have with us here today. We've got Spooty Poots.
Spooty Poots.
Yeah, playing N, a
And Vrel
Yuan-Ti
Oro.
abomination.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. And of course we've got KC, the killing chick,
Hello.
playing Floop, who is our grung character. Nobody else's class has been given away yet except for Warden, who's been playing Keeper, our 3 green monk.
Yeah. Well, on my stream, people might have seen my sheet a couple of times, so there might have been some insight into what my class is, but nobody said it.
True. And yes,
The only
so
hint
thank you all. Oh,
The
sorry.
only hint I gave is about me keeping people alive, but that's it.
I'm keeping the mushrooms
people can
alive.
heal. But yes, thank you all so much, everybody, for coming on out. This has been a huge amount of fun,
Yeah.
and we will see you all again
Yeah.
next Thursday with the B team.
And I'll see you guys on this from 2 fucking weeks.
Well, I mean, we might get you in earlier if the B team can't make it, and you guys are available. Though that is not to say you should go out and start trying to kill the B team.
So what you're
Please
saying
do not
is...
try to sabotage the B team so you can play D&D more often.
Damn it.
Thank you all, everybody, so much for coming on out.
Yeah.
End of line.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
And we're out.